Thank you guys for spending some time with us here for Fox 5 News at noon. As always, you can stay connected to us around the clock because we are live streaming throughout the day, not just on our website, fox5atlanta.com, but also on the Fox Local app that's free for your smartphone.
And good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. It is 1 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us here for our 1 o'clock streaming hour on Fox Local. We have a lot to get to, but I do want to remind you, if you're looking for Portia, we are now streaming that on Fox Local at 9 p.m. We have a lot of top stories that we are covering here in the Fox 5 newsroom, and one of the big ones has to do with the search for a murder suspect, or a shooting suspect, I should say, after a shooting at a Decatur library. So this all happened yesterday afternoon, and right now they are searching for 44-year-old Medikius Brown. He opened fire yesterday, according to investigators, and critically injured the victim. According to those investigators, the men got into an argument in the upstairs computer room, and that turned into a physical altercation. Police say Brown pulled a gun and fired several rounds before running out a side door. Witnesses say the victim was shot in the head. At last check, he was in critical condition at Grady Memorial Hospital. When or if Brown is caught, he'll face aggravated assault with intent to murder and weapons charges. Again, you're looking at your screen right now. That is the person that law enforcement in DeKalb County are trying to track down. He is accused of opening fire inside of that library in Decatur yesterday, and obviously investigators are hoping to be able to nab him and bring him to justice, as the victim he is accused of shooting is fighting for his life at the local hospital, and that library in Decatur is closed for the day. Another story we are tracking has to do with Tara Baker. That trial right now is on a lunch break. It had continued for the second day of testimony. We heard from two people so far today. The first one was the autopsy, the person who did the autopsy, the medical examiner from back in 2001. And then we also heard from a friend of Tara Baker. And so for those of you not familiar, right now the murder trial is for Edric Faust, the man accused of killing University of Georgia law student Tara Baker in 2001. And according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Baker was last seen by a friend outside a library around 7:30 p.m. That is actually one of the people we heard from today before that lunch break started. The night before her body was discovered. That friend later received a phone call from Baker, who said she planned to leave the library around 10 p.m. Authorities said that call was the last time anyone heard from her. Baker, who was just 23 at the time, was found dead inside her burned apartment off Fawn Drive back on January 19th, 2001, one day before her 24th birthday. Investigators later determined the fire had been intentionally set and ruled her death a homicide. No arrests have been made for more than 2 decades until Faust was taken into custody back in 2024, and that was all thanks to DNA evidence. The opening statements we heard on Monday, we heard different evidence that heavily links Faust to the crime, according to prosecutors, and the prosecution described the trial as the final chapter in a long, painful saga for the Baker family. The defense maintained Faust's innocence, arguing that investigators overlooked other suspects in their rush to close a decades-old cold case. This is obviously a story that we are tracking throughout our newsroom. Right now they are on that lunch break. They're set to pick back up at 1:30, and we're going to continue to track this case as it continues to develop as this trial moves forward. Another story is a national story that is certainly a big one that a lot of people are paying attention to. It is trending pretty much around the country, and it has to do with the Today Show anchor's mom, who was reported missing over the weekend. And you can see her on the screen right now. That is Nancy Guthrie, and police say she may have been abducted. And so we're expecting a news conference to take place at about 1:30 this afternoon. As soon as that does happen, we'll try to bring it to you here on Fox Local. But what we do know, according to the Pima County Sheriff's Office, they say that Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her Arizona home overnight on Saturday, and it may have been harmed in the process. The LA Times reports investigators found blood inside the home and signs of forced entry. A law enforcement source has told Fox News that Guthrie's pacemaker was last synced with her Apple devices around 2 a.m. on Sunday, and investigators believe she was taken out of range at that time. The law enforcement source also said there were, quote, blood drops leading from the entryway outside down the house pathway toward the driveway. The sheriff did note that Guthrie's wallet and phone were left behind, as well as vital medication that she needs to survive. He says he's not saying that it couldn't be fatal, but they're obviously trying to investigate this. They want to bring her home. Overnight, Savannah posted online calling her mom a woman of deep conviction, adding, quote, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison, in love, in hope. We believe in humanity. Above all, we believe in him. Bring her home." At this point, the sheriff says nothing indicates Nancy Guthrie was targeted because of her daughter's high-profile job at NBC News, but other experts believe that may be in play. Investigators reviewing security cameras from Guthrie's home, and the sheriff is asking neighbors for any footage they may have. Obviously, this is a developing story. We know that the Pima County Sheriff is expected to hold a news conference at 1:30 this afternoon, and we're obviously going to try to bring that to you here so you can get the latest developments, and we can all learn it together about what they know now as this case continues to develop. Well, I want to check in about with one of our assignment folks who here at Fox 5. We are obviously continuing to track a lot of local stories, including a lot of things that our reporters are working on scattered throughout the entire Fox 5 viewing area. We have a big team working to bring you the news tonight for the news at for Fox 5 News at 4, 5, and 6, and also here on Fox Local at 2 and 3 o'clock. I want to bring in our managing editor, Cal Calloway. Cal, I know you have been up there on the desk. You're listening to the scanners. You're taking phone calls along with our entire assignment team. What are we focusing on today, and what's the top story that you're seeing?
Hi, Tyler, good afternoon. One of the stories I think our viewers will be interested in is a discussion at the state capitol about how to save them money. Georgia Republicans have a bill that they are proposing that our Deidre Dukes will be focusing on today. It would put a cap on property tax rates in the state of Georgia. That's been a hot topic at the legislature for the last couple of years. The lawmakers took some action last year that gave school districts the option to opt out of a tax cap. This bill would eliminate that. Now, this is a separate bill than a bill that's being considered by the Georgia House Republicans. They completely want to eliminate property taxes in the state of Georgia. Obviously, saving Georgians money is going to be a key issue in an election year. It will be interesting to watch what that debate looks like on those two bills by the legislature and the separate bodies there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know affordability is big, Cal. That's what a lot of folks are talking about as we approach this election, and that's we know our lawmakers clearly are focusing on that.
And we've already heard some candidates for statewide offices, especially for governor, making proposals to eliminate certain kinds of fees that Georgians have to pay right now. So I think there will be a lot of discussion under the umbrella of saving Georgians money as we go to the polls in November. At noon today, our lead story was our Angelique Proctor, who was at the Fulton County Jail. This morning, the ACLU held a news conference to discuss conditions at the jail, and specifically what they're upset about is the overcrowding at the jail. That is not a new topic. It has been debated for years here in the county, but they want some steps taken. And some of those steps, they say, would not include building a new facility. Now, Fulton County Sheriff's, who you see right now, has proposed for several years what the county needs is a new facility. There are a number of issues there. Overcrowding is one of the top issues. The ACLU in their news conference today basically say that this is a second world kind of system that we have here in Fulton County. We've reached out to the sheriff. Angelique will be trying to get a response from him. I don't think he will disagree with the fact that overcrowding is a problem. He may disagree with some of their proposed solutions, but this is a debate that's been going on for some time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know that he has been an advocate for a brand new jail. The county commission has been focusing on trying to renovate that jail. Things cost money, and it sounds like really all this comes down to money.
It does come down to money, and it's also a political debate, as we've seen many times, of the sheriff versus the county commission and how that splits out. So, it'll be interesting to see his reaction to this. We have another money story, but it's involving some taxpayers and or residents in Douglas County who live in a mobile home park. And they've reached out to us and shared their story. Several of these residents are paying monthly water bills of $200, $300, $400, which seems, very high. The situation at the mobile home park is that the residents pay their water bills directly to the mobile home park, and they don't pay it to the county. They want to know what's going on because some of those residents say several months ago their bills were under $100. Now they've jumped so high. Kevin Stewart, who works the Douglas County area for us, is on that story. I know he's been promised some sort of response and statement from the mobile home park today, and we'll weigh out what we'll hear from certainly a couple of the residents who say they just can't afford to keep paying water bills this high. And finally, on saving money, and you and I were talking about this before we began on the stream, but here's one for folks who like to travel, and if they're looking for an opportunity to travel overseas, and this comes from our friends at Delta, our hometown airline, as they like to say. It's a 3-day flash sale, 20% off to European destinations, including Dublin, Barcelona, Madrid, and Amsterdam. You have to book it today, tomorrow, or Thursday, but it is 20% off for some of their, main cabin seating. You know a lot more about the travel than I do. It sounds like it might be an interesting deal if you've thought about traveling to Europe anytime recently.
Yeah, obviously we know that during this time of year we see a lot of a lull in that international travel. So clearly Delta is seeing that, so they're trying to fill those seats with trying to discounted fares before. And actually, funny enough, it falls during spring break here, so people may be able to grab a nice little deal before it's too late.
You're right, and you have to travel, I think, through April 30th, so that would include the spring break area. So it might be a good opportunity if you want to look at that.
Well, you know what? We'll have to wait and see. Where would you go if you could go to Europe?
Oh, you would ask me that. Dublin sounds like an interesting place to go. I haven't been to Europe that many times. When I have, I had a great time. So maybe some opportunities for some folks who are looking to do some traveling who've never done it before.
I would agree with you. Dublin sounds fun. That is one place I have not been. Maybe I'll have to take a look and see if there's any deals. Cal Calloway, our managing editor here at Fox 5, thanks for joining us this afternoon as we're tracking the developments about what we're covering here at Fox 5 today. Coming up here on the 1 o'clock stream on Fox Local, we have a lot more to come. We're going to be talking with some AJC journalists who just finished a months-long investigation. They partnered with several newsrooms in the South talking about PFAS. If you've heard of that before, they're forever chemicals. We're also going to be looking into, we're talking about the weather and all the other stuff that's happening here in the Metro Atlanta area. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us. And welcome back. Thanks so much for streaming with us here on the 1 o'clock streaming hour on Fox Local. The next story I'm actually really excited about. It is a brand new sweeping investigation that is putting a spotlight on a small Georgia town. So I learned this in this story. Dalton is known as the carpet capital of the world as at the center of a months-long investigation by the AJC and several other newsrooms. The project, which is called Forever Stained, traces how so-called forever chemicals spread into water systems across the South and how families are still dealing with the fallout today. I want to bring in AJC reporters, investigative reporters, Dylan Jackson and Justin Price. First of all, you guys did an amazing job on this. This is a very thorough investigation. You spent a very long time on it. Walk me through what you guys were able to find and just how did this type of chemicals end up in the water supply that people end up drinking?
Yeah, I mean, so as you noted, this story starts in Northwest Georgia, in the area around Dalton, Georgia, which is known as the carpet capital of the world. For generations, this city has been known to host the biggest carpet companies in the world. Everybody has some connection to this industry. And for decades, this industry used stain and soil-resistant chemicals that contain PFAS. And through the manufacturing process, through the wastewater treatment process, these chemicals ended up getting into the drinking water, the rivers, the creeks, the watershed of the region, and were traced more than 100 miles downstream into Alabama. So that's what we're sort of talking about here. It's these stain-resistant chemicals that made carpets popular for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the carpeting, I mean, some people have it in their homes and their apartments. I know for me, I have it. I would never have thought that the chemicals that they use to be able to produce that would end up in something that people rely on. I mean, people drink water, they drink things, and they rely on water, obviously. Is there anything that you guys realized when you started digging into this that it was the aha moment that, yeah, we need to make sure that we can expose what happened here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to the importance of the industry to the region, right? I mean, there's this dynamic where the very industry that sustained the region led to the situation that we're seeing today. And so for us, that took us past just like an environmental story into something about really a company town that lives and breathes this industry, and that very thing that sustained it ended up, helping create the situation that we're seeing today.
Yeah. I would say the aha moment for me was with the land application system that's operated by the utility up there. Mm-hmm. It was really, our reporting uncovered that was really the main pathway of contamination into the region, into the river that spreads downstream into other communities. It's operated by the utility, Dalton Utilities up there. And basically what happens is the chemical waste that's in the wastewater from the carpet mills would get shipped to Dalton Utilities, and then they would spray it onto the land. And through that process, that's intended to remove contaminants, it's the last step in the treatment process. The PFAS, since they don't break down in the environment, they would seep into the soil. They would spread across the surface of this big, it's a 9,800 acre piece of land outside the city, and it would get into the river and be carried downstream.
Something that struck me as I was reading this article today was the fact that there were some warning signs, it seemed like. How long ago did something that people were noticing, or did these companies know that there may have been a problem and that this was popping up in people's blood?
Yeah, I mean, for many decades, they began using these chemicals in the carpet production in the 70s and into the 80s and so on. And for many decades, the chemical companies did not tell the carpet companies that these chemicals were in their products. I mean, you've seen movies like Dark Waters and things like that. A lot is known about, these major chemical suppliers like 3M and DuPont. But in the late 90s and beyond, the carpet industry, which was a major user of these chemicals, were starting to become aware that these chemicals built up in people's blood. As the years went on, they became aware of more and more research on the potential health effects of these chemicals. I mean, the same qualities that make it so good for stain resistance, for soil resistance, are the very same qualities that make it hard to degrade in the environment and persist in people's bodies and in the environment as well.
Oh. Can I ask you one more question real quick, just very quickly? You guys spoke to to people who had high levels of PFAS. Well, I mean, how are they dealing with this? Are they seeing any medical issues by having this in there, or is it just too soon to tell?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to directly link environmental contamination to someone's health condition, but, PFAS is connected to a whole host of health effects, certain cancers, thyroid issues, immune system issues. And, more broadly, a lot of people feel, frankly, that we talk to, they feel, frankly, betrayed, right? I mean, they gave their lives to these companies, many of them. Carpet is so prominent in their pride in their community. This small town is known to host some of these massive carpet companies. And there's a real sense of betrayal among a lot of these folks that, they gave their lives to these companies and they're finding out that PFAS is in their water, it's in their homes, and for many people, it's in their blood.
And the stories of the folks that we talked to, you can read in our story at ajc.com. And tonight there's a documentary airing on Frontline with some of the folks that we featured in our reporting.
Justin and Dylan, we could talk about this for a very long time. It is a very long read, but it is well worth it. I appreciate you joining us here on Fox Local on our 1 o'clock stream. Thank you for the reporting you did, and thank you for joining us here. And as Justin just mentioned, you can see their full report on ajc.com. If you scroll down a little bit, it's right on their investigations tab. It is a fantastic read. Highly recommend it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Tyler.
And switching gears, let's talk about the weather. Alex Forbes is standing by with a look at what we can expect for the weekend ahead. I mean, we have had 3 straight weeks of winter weather. In Macon, we had snow that first weekend. Yep. Then we had, ice for pretty much North Georgia, and then we had snow last weekend. Is there anything else that we could even pile on to this to be considered winter weather, or have we just talked about it all already?
Well, let's go back one more weekend, and you run into a tornado that we had in Carroll County. January was just full of it here across the metro area. Live look over downtown. We are not going to be doing anything of that variety anytime soon. 55 in Atlanta right now under mostly cloudy skies. You can see that's really settled in here over the last little bit. 10 degrees warmer, though, than this time yesterday, thanks in part to that southwesterly breeze at about 13 miles an hour. Temperatures out there, you got 55 in Alpharetta, 53 in Cumming, 52 in Gainesville, 59 in Conyers, and 53 over in Douglasville. Zoom out and look big picture here. 59 down there in Thomaston, 57 in LaGrange, 46 up there in Clayton and in Blue Ridge, where, let me take you live up to Blairsville, there is still snow on the ground. This is up at Butternut Creek Golf Course up there, and I mean, they're above freezing, but the snow, it's still there at this hour. So here's Fox 5 Live Viper. There's the rain lurking back off to the west. Everything going according to plan, crossing I-65 right now in the Huntsville area. And that massive rain is moving towards North Georgia by the time we get toward the evening commute tonight. I think after 7 o'clock is when this moves into the metro area. Now, timing it out hour by hour, there you go at 6, right? Entering Bartow County, I-75 going to be one of the first spots to see it, but that is going to spread across northern Georgia into the evening hours. So here we are at 11 p.m. Notice it's not a solid shield of rain. We'll say passing showers through the overnight, but by the time we get to tomorrow morning, it's going to favor more along and south of I-20. Now, that's not going to be a harsh dividing line, right? The rain can't see I-20 and so, okay, let me go the other way. What it's going to be is just a rough cutoff, right? So Athens, you're north of I-20. I think you could still be in the mix for rain tomorrow morning. And some of this lasts into the afternoon. There's 11 a.m. and then we get the showers out of here by the time we get towards the evening commute tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to amount to a ton of rain. You see, generally speaking, this has between 1/4 and 3/4 of an inch. I think if you get 3/4 of an inch of rain, you're going to be one of the lucky few. Most spots are likely going to be below a 1/2 inch. So into the evening tonight, Sunset at 6:11. That rain chance on the rise. Might notice a couple more peaks of sunshine here before the day is over, but there's not necessarily going to be a lot of it. Now, here's something, Tyler, I think a lot of people are looking forward to. The days are getting longer. So right now we have 10 hours and 40 minutes of daylight today. Sun rose this morning at 7:32, sets at 6:12. Now, I should point out here on this list that daylight saving starts that first weekend of February, so that's why you see those jumps in times. But by the time we get to the first day of spring, now 45 days away, March 20th, looking for a sunset at 7:49. That is going to be spectacular here in the metro area. Here's your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast. So a bit of a speed bump with the rain coming through. We will cool back down, but by the time we get to the weekend, 58 on Saturday, followed by 60 on Sunday. That's going to feel pretty nice, especially after those last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, rain is better than, I guess, ice. Snow is
absolutely
nice. Snow is nice, but we didn't really get that here in the Atlanta area, right in the heart of inside the perimeter. When you went outside, that's where we started seeing it. I mean, is this going to ruin people's plans over the next 24 hours, that rain we're expecting?
Unless you're eating a midnight snack outside at 3 a.m., I think you're going to be mostly okay. Some showers will still be around tomorrow morning, but I'm not looking for a huge impact.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for that update, and we'll hopefully you guys get the much-needed break from all of that winter weather coverage. Alex, thanks for joining us. And still ahead here on the 1 o'clock streaming hour here on Fox Local, we are going to be checking in with one of our digital content producers who is going to be looking at all the stories that are trending right now that people like you are watching and looking at on our Fox Local app, fox5atlanta.com. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us. And welcome back. We're approaching 1:30 on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks so much for sticking with us here on this streaming hour on Fox Local. We want to talk about some other top stories that we are tracking. Some of these are more national, but it affects a lot of people and could affect a lot of people depending how long this goes for. It's the government shutdown. Unfortunately, that is a problem that started just last week when they weren't able to reach a spending deal. And so the House is set to hold a key procedural vote today today on a massive government funding bill to end the partial government shutdown, which affects about 70% or so of the government. The House leaders, including Speaker Mike Johnson, addressed the main issues in the $1.2 trillion spending package, which includes potential changes for ICE, the agency that enforces the nation's immigration laws. Most Democrats oppose the measure over its extension of Homeland Security funding, including immigration and customs enforcement. And so that obviously is something we're going to be monitoring. It affects obviously the government, and it will affect things like the air traffic controllers, the TSA. Once again, we know just a matter of months ago, we had that last government shutdown, which went for a number of weeks and impacted air traffic controllers, impacted people traveling, because obviously folks stopped showing up for work because they weren't getting paid. So we're going to be following that one. And another story we're tracking is also the debut of the new Atlanta Falcons general manager. We heard from him today. You'll see him right there. That it's a new era for the Falcons, where they formally introduced him. This is Ian Cunningham at a news conference this morning. He came from the Chicago Bears, and he is now the newest GM here. Here's a little bit of what Cunningham said to reporters earlier today.
My family, Elliot, Rooney, and Niall, you guys are my why. You're my purpose. Thank you. The sacrifices that you guys make every day, thank you. There's this thing that, people say the best thing in life you can give your family, your kids, is time. Unfortunately, in this business, we don't have a lot of time to give. You guys know that as well. But I try to be intentional with that time. I try to maximize that time. But, the best thing in life that I could ever give you guys is your mom.
Yeah, so that's Ian Cunningham. He was debuted this morning during a news conference at 1 o'clock. We have our Fox 5 Sports team tracking the developments on this, and we're going to be bringing that to you during, I believe, the 3 o'clock streaming hour. You'll hear from one of our Fox 5 Sports reporters, and of course during the news at 4, 5, and 6. I want to talk about something else with you guys, and that's obviously what you guys are looking at online. My colleague Sam Daniel over on our digital content desk is been tracking all of this. Sam, what are people looking at? What are they clicking on? What are people really interested in?
Hey, Tyler. So, yeah, we have a lot of things up on the Fox Local app. My coworker and I, Joyce Lupiani, are just cranking articles out left and right all day long. The top story, though, that people are really interested in, and it's getting a lot of traction online, is the fact that the city of Jonesboro has decriminalized the possession of small amounts of marijuana. So this has to do with an ounce or less of marijuana. Our reporter Chris King spoke with the Jonesboro Councilman Drew Andrews last night. He said the point of this is to let police within Jonesboro focus on what he called more serious crimes rather than the possession of small amounts of marijuana. Still, though, if you are caught with marijuana within Jonesboro city limits, you could face a fine of $150. Now, one of the comments that I saw repeatedly on our Facebook was talking about Clayton County, which is the county Jonesboro is in. It decriminalized marijuana back in September for the possession of small amounts. They were wondering how this is different, and what it has to do with is the police agencies within those different jurisdictions. So Clayton County, even though Jonesboro is within it, the Clayton County mandate doesn't apply to that specific police force, where this city council resolution applies specifically to Jonesboro police.
So what would change, though? I mean, obviously you mentioned Clayton County already did this. Does this, I mean, they can make the choice on whether they did this with or without the city council making that decision, correct?
So I think what it more so has to do with is the fact that this is telling officers that they don't need to arrest people that are caught with less than an ounce of marijuana. Prior to this, it was still against the law, so I'm assuming officers could probably get in trouble if they were caught just not arresting people with marijuana. Now, though, the most they can do is give out a $150 fine, so there's no chance that they could get in trouble for that.
Okay. And so what are some of the other stories? I know you were talking about a possible naked woman.
Yeah, this one, it's a little bizarre. It's a little out there, but people are really interested in this naked woman who was arrested running around naked at a hotel in Cobb County. So she was at and let me make sure I get this hotel Correct. The Country Inn and Suites. So this was last night around 10 p.m. Adasia English was running around the hotel naked, according to police. People at the hotel called to have her arrested. When the officers showed up to arrest her, she tried to bribe them. But then, once she was taken to the jail, she also tried to bribe the corrections officer at the jail to release her without pressing the charges. So that didn't happen, obviously. You can see her mugshot on the screen. She was arrested, she was booked into the jail, and then she was released on a $2,000 bond.
Yeah, it's one thing to be running around naked, and then you're starting to bribe officers and corrections officers. She took that to a whole new level, it sounds like, according to what police have told us.
Yes, and police have not released the exact amount that she offered to pay these officers and jailers, but it doesn't seem like it was enough to make them even question it.
Well, if she was naked, did she have a wallet on her? I digress. What are some of the other stories that you are tracking right now?
So the last story I want to talk about today is a cell phone ban. And as most people know, Georgia already has a cell phone ban at all public schools, K through 8th grade. This new ban that passed out of the education subcommittee yesterday would now ban it for 9th through 12th grade. So this is high schoolers. Everybody knows high schoolers are addicted to their phones. They love social media. Right now, they are allowed to have their cell phones on them. But this bill, if it passes, would require school districts to keep phones off of students throughout the school day. Bell to bell is the language that is written in it. It's unclear if this will pass, but a lot of the Republicans who have the supermajority in the legislature seem to back it up. Our reporters yesterday heard from a lot of them. They all seem to back it up. And Chris Irwin said that we are one of the 25 states that doesn't require this K through 12. So it's mostly required throughout all of schools, but right now we just have it K through 8, which he says makes us an outlier.
I mean, obviously we know, I mean, I have 2 phones. I'm addicted to my phone here. I'm sure you are, my phones, I should say. You have a phone or 2. Everyone pretty much relies on their phone nowadays, especially nowadays for, just keeping contact with people, social media. But I've heard from teachers before, it's a very big distraction in there, especially with social media. People on TikTok, scrolling Instagram, they're not learning. They're just paying attention to their phone.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Now, this bill goes on to say that other things like smartwatches, we all have Apple Watches, things like that will also be banned. However, if students have Kindles, because there's no two-way communication option on those Kindles, they will be allowed to have those and e-readers. So if they have textbooks on them or other books that they could be reading throughout the school day, those will be allowed.
Can I ask you were a teacher at one point before you joined us here at Fox 5. You were a journalist, went to become a teacher, teach the next generation. Did you have problems with students using phones in the classroom?
Yes, it was all the time, constant. And it also, so I taught middle school, and students would try and take pictures of their phones to just annoy the other students. So it also became kind of a provoking matter where students would get in arguments over the phones just as well. And as a teacher, you don't have the ability to go through a student's phone to say, hey, they didn't take a picture of you. So sometimes fights will even break out about it.
Interesting. All good stories, and I understand why people are clicking on them. That naked woman trying to allegedly bribe a police officer and corrections officer obviously is, I can see why people are clicking on that. But, the phone thing affects a lot of parents who then may have their kids, making sure that they're not utilizing it during class. Sam Daniel, thanks so much for joining us here on the stream and sharing the stories that our viewers are clicking on Fox Local and on our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page and Twitter account and all the different social media platforms. Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, we are everywhere, all the time, all throughout our area and also throughout the country. We have teams of reporters who feed content to us, and we always appreciate their contributions. So we have a lot more coming up here. We are monitoring a press conference in Pima County. That has not started yet. That is going to be regarding the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. We'll bring that to you as soon as it does start. But first, I want to bring in my good friend, Fox 5's Paul Milliken. He is at the Fox Theater, which has been a main attraction in Atlanta for nearly a century. I mean, if you've been inside, you know it's been there a while. And now for the first time, you can take a piece of the iconic venue home. Let's check in with Paul.
Well, hello, everybody from the fabulous Fox Theater. It is so good, as always, to be here at the Fox Theater. Look, I have been here more times than I can count. I have seen many shows and covered many shows here, and there's such a fascinating history, too. You know, the Fox Theater will turn 100 years old in just a couple of years. So for me personally, every time I'm here, I'm like, I should leave with a Fox Theater t-shirt or something, right? Rep the Fox Theater. You may have had the same feeling. Well, guess what? Now we can, because for the first time ever, there is an official Fox Theater gift shop. So the main entrance to the theater is right behind me, the iconic marquee right there. And just down the block, right here at 660, it is the Fox Theater gift shop. And we are giving you the very first look inside. So let's go and welcome everybody inside the brand new Fox Theater gift shop. So when can you come shop here? Well, it's going to be open during public tours and also public performances. So whenever you come to see a show at the Fox Theater, whether it's a Broadway show or a concert, it'll open 3 hours before showtime and will stay open about an hour after showtime. So you can come and shop during those times, and also when you take a tour of the Fox Theater. So shall we shop? Let's get to it. First of all, I am modeling. Let me do a little model spin for you. One of the new sweatshirts. I can tell you, because I was just out there, it is cold outside. So check this out. We've got several sweatshirts here. You've got hoodies, you've got crew necks, and another hoodie here. And if you notice the pattern on these, those are patterns that are replicated inside the Fox Theater. So if it looks familiar, it's because you've seen those patterns before at various places inside the theater. And the entire look of the gift shop here is patterned after the theater. So you've got that very sort of Middle Eastern bazaar feel, which you have when you're in the lobby or in the actual theater too. We have tote bags over here, and then the t-shirts are the best. So this, of course, is a replica of a real t-shirt worn back in the 1970s during the Save the Fox campaign. As many of you probably remember, in the mid-1970s, we almost lost the Fox Theater altogether. It was going to be demolished, and the community got together, a real grassroots campaign, and saved the Fox Theater. And they were wearing t-shirts like that, so now you can wear them again. And these have just been redone on kind of heavier cotton too. Next to that is a Live at the Fox t-shirt. That might look familiar too. Follow me over here and I'll show you why. So also during that whole Save the Fox campaign, Lynyrd Skynyrd, of course, came here and they did a live recording. And so as you see here, Ronnie Van Sant, the front man of Lynyrd Skynyrd, wore that shirt live at the Fox, and now you can own a replica of that. And then there's one here that I know so many of you want that just says fabulous. So if you're feeling fabulous, you can get a fabulous t-shirt. And along with the apparel, there are so many cool keepsakes too. We've got the coffee mugs right here. You've got the notebooks, of course, if you need to do a little journaling, postcards, and even some very cool prints that you can take home, and they are framed along the wall back there. And speaking of the coffee cups, last thing, so the Fox Theater teamed up with Jittery Joe's Coffee out of Athens to create a blue sky blend of coffee, which you can get in the gift shop and also online through the Jittery Joe's website. And a portion of the proceeds of this goes to Fox Gives, which is the nonprofit arm of the Fox Theater. So you can support the Fox just by buying some coffee. And I've been drinking it all morning. It is delicious. So again, this is the brand new Fox Theater gift shop, open during public tours and public performances. Like I said earlier, 3 hours ahead of showtime, 1 hour after, and we are told new merch will be rolling out all the time. In other words, I'm going to be back here a lot. So if you'll excuse me, I must continue my modeling and shopping, and I'll see you at the Fox Theater.
I feel like Paul is made to model, and he's always at the Fox. If you're watching Good Day Atlanta, you know he is almost always there previewing some show that they have. They have their Broadway Across America series, and they have a lot of different shows. So very cool to see that they have a new gift shop that people who go there can be able to take home a piece of the Fox with them after they leave. And so we want to talk about, before we go to break here, the fact that we are expecting a news conference out of Pima County, Arizona. We're expecting to hear from the sheriff any minute now. now. It was supposed to start at 1:30, and so there it is. That's a live look at the news conference. You see the podium, all the mic flags there. We're expecting to hear from the sheriff. He's going to give us an update on the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of the NBC host Savannah Guthrie. We do know that she was possibly abducted, according to investigators. They found blood trail outside of the home leading to the driveway, and we also know that her pacemaker was last seen, and I believe that actually is the sheriff of the Pima County, and
good
he's
morning.
Yep. Well, let's listen in.
I don't know that everybody knows who's here. Of course, I'm Sheriff Chris Nanos. John Edwards is the Tucson chief here for the FBI, and he'll have some words for you as well. You know, this is really, for me, pretty new. All the media attention. So I apologize to you for sometimes I'm speaking in generalities, and I'm not used to everybody hanging on to my words and then trying to hold me accountable for called media briefings. So with that, I'm going to ask John to come up. If you've got a statement to say, John, and then we'll take some questions and we'll get back to work.
Hello, I'm John Edwards. My spelling is Jonedwards. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Tucson. First, we want the community to know that the FBI is doing everything in our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We're looking at this from every angle, but we need your help. If you live in the area or saw something on Saturday night, the 31st of January, or Sunday morning, the 1st of February, please report it to the Pima County Sheriff's Department or the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Every lead and tip is important. We are aggressively pursuing and looking into every single one. Again, please help us bring Nancy Guthrie home. Thank you.
We'll take some questions.
Sheriff, is there any indication so far as to whether this was a random abduction or targeted?
it's like I said earlier, we're looking at all the leads, and we don't know. We're going to assume both sides of that. We'll look at both sides of that.
Sheriff, any idea what Nancy Guthrie was wearing, or the type of car that she might have left from, or any identifiable information that the public could use to help with those tips?
We do not.
Sheriff, do you believe that one or more than one person was involved in the kidnapping?
I just no clue. It could have been one. It could have been more. I don't know. Let me get one second.
Is there any indication that Nancy Guthrie is still alive? We know the medication played a critical role here. It's been 48 hours. She needs it every single day. Are you looking for someone that is still alive?
We hope we are. We hope we are.
Sheriff said earlier that you don't believe there's a wider threat to the public. If you're not sure if it's targeted, why do you believe there's no wider threat to the public?
Well, we have crime in Tucson all the time, right? Like any city. And so when you say a threat to the public, is there somebody out there who's kidnapping elderly people in the middle of the night every night? We've not heard that. We don't believe that's the case. We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Sheriff, when you reference violence at the site, can you elaborate on that? And also, was there a sign of forced entry, any valuables taken, any bank or ATM cards used after her disappearance?
We're not getting into that. What I'd tell you is, like any crime scene, we processed this crime scene. We gathered all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? Fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine, and we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us, and we're like you. We're waiting for those returns to come back.
Did you find DNA that did not belong in that house?
The window of time from when she was last seen to when she was reported missing, and I know you guys are asking for help from the public. Is there any way to narrow down what time you might be helpful? I know there was a report about a pacemaker dinging like around 2 o'clock in the morning. Is there any way to indicate to people, hey, look around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. to help them identify what they might have?
I really don't want to get into narrowing down the time, because narrowing it down means we could miss some tips and leads. We're working on with the data we've submitted for investigative analysis. We're working to see if that time can be tightened up. But for now, we're going with what we told you earlier. She was dropped off at 9:30, and she was found to be missing at about 11 o'clock Sunday morning.
Sheriff,
let me get this one.
DNA of anyone else found in the house?
We've submitted all kinds of samples for DNA, and we've gotten some back, but nothing to indicate any suspects.
Anybody strange in the neighborhood? I know you're looking at video, different surveillance camera, anything that we should be looking at, different cars?
I have nothing in that regard.
Have any demands been made by kidnappers?
We have all kinds of investigative leads we're working on.
Sheriff, we noticed that the camera on the front of the house is missing. Do you believe the perpetrator purposely took the camera?
Don't know that. We're looking into that as well. Yes, sir.
That scene been fully processed now. We saw deputies leave around 6 o'clock last night. We didn't see tape go up. An Amazon driver was able to walk right up to the door. Is that pretty standard for how you handle this?
The scene is done. We're done with the residents. If we need to go back to get, maybe we want to do something with some other piece of evidence there, we contact the family and let them know. But we have turned that over to the family. I don't have the time, but it was sometime yesterday, I believe.
Have you recovered any tire tracks or any footprints around the house?
No.
Was there any Could you please take us through the timeline that you've established of the events so far, and what as much detail?
9:45, 9:30, 9:45, we were told she was left at her home by the family. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the family got notice from somebody at church that she was not at church. They went to the home, found her to be missing. That's the timeline. From Saturday night, 9:45, we'll say, to Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. Let me get somebody back here, please.
Have you interviewed the people that reported her missing, the people from the church?
That's the family. Oh, from the church as well. We're doing all kinds of interviews, yes, I'm sure we have.
Have you been able to access the footage from the cameras at the house?
Where that's all been submitted, and we're doing our best with those companies who own those cameras or built those cameras.
Are there any plans to release those videos from the cameras, from the surveillance? Are there any plans to release the video from the cameras, surveillance footage?
We don't even have them yet, so no, not at this time. This is an active investigation.
There's a report of a suspicious man a few doors down last week. Is that anything that you guys are aware of?
I'm not aware of it. My detectives may be. There's a lot of detective work being done, and I just can't get into those weeds or even discuss with you what they may not have learned. Yes, ma'am.
Report from the board yesterday. Are there specific resources that maybe the board has not granted that would have made a difference responding to this case?
Well, you know, that's getting into my own local politics. I apologize. Yes, the board a few weeks ago denied a request for more cameras, more drones, more AI capabilities with our own body-worn cameras. All those things, you know, you'd have to talk to the board. Yeah, I'm not probably not the right time to go into this.
Sheriff,
let me get somebody else here.
Sheriff,
yes.
do you believe she's still in this area?
Do we believe
She's still in this area, or is there somewhere else?
We don't know where she is. So we're like any investigation. You start from the point of where we last saw her, and we work out, and we are working as far out as we can go.
Sheriff, can you walk through
were there
the evidence
of forced entry at the house, like any broken windows or whatever? Or does it seem like people just went in and out?
There are concerns at the house that concerned us from the early on part of this investigation, and that's all I will tell you. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff, is there any history with Nancy needing police at her place, or concerns where she was worried about somebody following or
you know, our investigative team has looked into all of those things, and that has not been brought to my attention. So she may have had something like that, but I'm not aware of it.
What is the extent of collaboration with the federal government? Obviously, FBI is here. CBP, are there other agencies also involved?
CBP's role in this was in our search and rescue mission, where we constantly use them. They have great dogs. Our dogs aren't tracking dogs for this. Theirs are, and so they came out and did that. Anybody else, though, that we've asked for help from, whether it's the FBI, I know if we needed help from CBP or DEA or ATF, they would gladly give it. I've heard from leadership from all sorts of agencies, not just at the federal level, but across the state. Every one of them saying, "Sheriff, you need anything, we're here."
Sheriff, so you obviously said investigators, when they got on scene, they found suspicious circumstances. When the family called originally to report her missing, did they say anything about the state of the home?
I don't know that. I don't know. Let me hang on. Let me make sure I'm getting some different people here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so there was blood that was found inside the house and you're testing it for DNA. How much blood and where was it?
I'm not saying there's blood inside that house or outside that house. What I'm saying is our team processed a scene like you would think of any crime scene. We go in and we process it. We look for things like that: blood, DNA, any kind of physical evidence, fingerprints, anything, and all of that is gathered and submitted to a lab. That lab will report back to us what they find. So far, what we found from that lab is nothing that would tell us this is who did this.
We'll take a couple more questions, and then the sheriff's got to go.
Sheriff, can you walk through the evidence that was found at the scene in as much detail as possible?
No, I cannot.
What is the bottleneck to the surveillance footage? I know you said some of it is in the cloud, but you've also been reached out to tech companies that are saying they're cooperating. Why do you not have the surveillance footage on media?
That's what I tell them. How come I don't have this? Where's my evidence? It is a process, and I'm sorry, but you know, we're grateful that there's large corporations and companies who have bent over backwards to help us, to say, "Hey, Sheriff, tell us what you need." And so, yeah, I can't slam them. And we've asked them. They know the urgency here. But I'm like you. What do you mean I don't know that now? Yeah, it's tough.
Follow up on an answer that you gave earlier. You were asked if there
last question.
You were asked if there was any ransom, and you didn't say no. You said we're following all leads. Does that mean a ransom has come in?
We're following all leads we have. That's all I can tell you. We've got hundreds of leads, and it's from you that produce those leads by telling people we need help, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm not going to get into all that. We We have a team designated to deal with all of our leads. They're looking into all of that. We are sharing all of our leads with the FBI. They are helping us in evaluating those leads, how good they are, where that priority should be. And so we're just, look, I know you guys are doing your job, and you're doing a great job, but we have a job to do too, and I really need to back away from this for a while, and we'll see you, unless something breaks, we'll see you Thursday morning. PIO will give you a time frame, I'm guessing somewhere around 11:30.
Thank you. I need your emails if you are. And that was Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos giving us an update on the situation for the search for Nancy Guthrie out in Arizona rather. That's Tucson area. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos there, and he was telling us that they have finished processing the home. We also don't know where she is, according to investigators. They are still trying to track her down. Nancy Guthrie is the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, and so obviously they are pouring a lot of resources in this to track her down. They said that they're looking at cell phone data and other evidence, and they have finished processing the home, but if they need to, they will go back. We're obviously going to stay on top of the story. It is trending across the country. People are very interested in this. We're going to continue following this as we get ready to start the 2 o'clock streaming hour. We will have that for you. Ariel Onstott will join you in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
suspects there, like you see on his squad car outside of police headquarters there in Gwinnett County. But if you'd like to come attend that funeral, they're actually encouraging members of the community and everyone to be seated by 9:30 in the morning. That service set to happen at 10 o'clock. And there will be overflow parking as well for people who want to come out. And it's expected that a lot of people will be there. A big thing you can do as well, line the funeral procession route. As the hearse makes its way and his family makes their way from the church to the funeral home, you'll be able to line that processional, or rather, I should say, from the funeral home to the church, you can line that route and pay your respects. We know that procession is going to include the hearse, family, Gwinnett County Police Department personnel, and other officers from the law enforcement community. So we're going to post that funeral route on our website and right here, Fox Local, so you can know how to do it, how to show up if this is what you'd like to do. I want to talk about some other local news we're following here in our newsroom. Another big story continues to be the conditions at the Fulton County Jail. And today, the ACLU of Georgia actually held a news conference to address this. Angelique Proctor, of course, following up on this story. And Angelique, you're always letting us know what the latest is with the Fulton County Jail. I have to say, I'm not surprised at this news conference today.
Absolutely no surprises here. The Fulton County Jail continues to be in the headlines, and unfortunately, more often than not, it is extremely negative news. Now, the ACLU held this news conference today, and they are basically saying that it is they're calling the inmates here at the Fulton County Jail captives in a dungeon in a very unjust system. They strongly believe that it is overcrowding that is really the major problem here at the Fulton County Jail. And so this is their third report that they have done on this Rice Street Jail. The report focuses on the conditions in the jail in 2025, the year that just passed. And according to the ACLU, in the first 7 months of last year, the jail population rose some 20%, leading to even more of this overpopulation. And they talk about how 4 people died in the Fulton County Jail over that same time. Now, the group is called, there's a coalition of groups, the Community Over Cages Coalition. They believe that less incarceration is really the first step in solving this crisis, and they do call it a crisis here at the Fulton County Jail. They say the solution will take all of us. So they do not say it is just the sheriff in this case. They point to police officers who they say need to be using the diversion system rather than making arrests. They also say judges need to issue lower bonds when inmates are positioned in court. They talk about the district attorney needs to process cases a whole lot faster, and that lawmakers even need to design policies that are address overcrowding. And they even say that the community has a role. Take a listen.
And incarcerated people have continued to die while in custody. Black people remain significantly overrepresented in the jail, and people charged only with misdemeanors make up a growing share of people who are detained. The report shows that on any given day, hundreds of people are locked up in Fulton County just because they cannot afford to pay for their release, often for weeks or months. And I personally have visited people incarcerated for their inability to pay bonds as low as $1. It's a crisis that requires urgent action. Police agencies, the district attorney's office, the solicitor general, magistrate and superior court judges, we all share responsibility for addressing this.
Here in Fulton County, too many people are sitting in jail on low-level quality of life offenses that really reflect something deeper: homelessness, untreated mental health conditions, substance use, and unmet basic needs. Research clearly shows that people without stable housing, with untreated mental health or substance issues, are more likely to be arrested and to keep coming back into the justice system. We are not without solutions. The diversion center exists to interrupt this cycle. Instead of taking someone to jail for a minor offense, officers can send them to the diversion center where they can be evaluated, stabilized, and connected to the services that they need. When we use diversion as intended, fewer people end up in jail. We also have a chance to address the root causes of what's happening in their lives with core and support.
And just heartbreaking to hear that some inmates here at the Fulton County Jail cannot even make a $1 bond, but that is what the ACLU attorney said, and he says that he has actually met with numerous inmates who can't make a $1 bond. Now, the coalition also included another group called Fair Play Atlanta. Fair Play Atlanta is an organization that is focusing on the jail as 300,000 people come to Atlanta for the FIFA World Cup, and they believe that some of our visitors could end up in the jail, and in fact it is a jail that they are calling a death trap.
Yeah, Angelique, I understand that you spoke with Michael Collins from Playfair Atlanta, and that, he was talking a little bit about what you just described, the idea that we're going to have so many visitors and they're going to come here to our city. And that is an idea, right? That is something to think about. Okay, so these visitors come here. What if they were to end up in our jail, and what does that look like? Curious if we have, I know you had a soundbite from him. Curious if we have that and if we should listen. Okay, Angelique, it looks like we have it. We're going to listen to Michael Collins and what he told you real quick.
This summer, our city will see an additional 300,000 visitors from across the globe. Some visitors may not be familiar with our laws. There may be drug and alcohol use. There may be fights. The last thing we want is someone to be locked up here in Fulton County Jail, a death trap, an unconstitutional hellhole.
And so that is his concern, that some of our international visitors with a lot of language barriers could end up here at the Fulton County Jail and not really even understand where they are. He also talked about how the Fulton County Jail doesn't really meet international standards, and that a lot needs to be done before our international visitors come here for the FIFA World Cup. Now, it's no secret that Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt has asked commissioners for a new jail, but that request has not been granted. This coalition, though, however, says that a new jail really will not solve these problems. They believe that overcrowding and the way that these inmates are treated is what we need to begin addressing right away, and doing it as a comprehensive approach where it is not just the sheriff, but it is also police officers, it is also judges, and so
phenomenal point. I'm appreciative that you have such a deep knowledge of this situation, and the idea that quality of life is what sends someone to jail is, I think it's something we can all sit with and really think about. So I appreciate your reporting, and no doubt this will not be our last conversation on this. So Angelique Proctor, thank you so much. Okay, guys, we're going to move on here because we have a lot of other stories to get to, and I want to make sure we keep you guys informed. I'd like to move on to our Kevin Stewart, who is following the latest regarding a story with some households trying to keep up. You know, it's really hard, I think, for a lot of families right now in terms of inflation, cost of living, trying to make ends meet. And wild swings in water bills actually have some tenants really frustrated in one Douglas County community. This is the Pine Lake Mobile Home Park, and Kevin Stewart takes a look into why this all is happening. Kevin, it's great to see you here joining us live. Tell us what's going on there at the
The busted pipe, they go up on our water and sewage so I guess that much ain't coming out of their pocket.
How does this bust your budget?
Big time, because I live on Social Security, and I have to do door dashing to make my ends meet. You're not saving nothing. You're paying more than what you would actually if you went to a house or an apartment.
Yeah, and so that's really frustrating, as you would imagine. To give you a bigger picture, Georgia's in the top 5 when it comes to the number of mobile homes, and people generally who, whether you own it or rent it, they live here because it's affordable. She told me she paid only $15,500 for her mobile home because she's on Social Security, and this is what she can afford. She pays, I believe she said, $530 for lot rent. So this is something that she chose because it's affordable. But then when you have wild bills going from $25 to $50 to $100 to more than $300, she doesn't know how to budget. It's very tough. We've tried to reach out to the folks who own this property. They are out in Cincinnati. I got a phone call and they said, hey, we'll talk to you. That was yesterday. So far, we have not heard back today, but it's something that we're going to continue to follow.
Kevin, thank you so much for letting us know where this stands. You know, my heart goes out to her because I put myself in her shoes and I'm like, how would I budget if my water bill is swinging so vast from one figure to the other? And, you know, for a lot of people, it's not like you just have hundreds of dollars, you know, in your margins just ready to take care of this situation if it happens to you. So no doubt, I hope this situation gets rectified, and I have no doubt you're going to let us know when you hear back from the leaders of that community there, mobile home park. But yeah, Kevin, unfortunate situation. Definitely my heart goes out to her. So thanks so much for your reporting on this story. I appreciate it. Guys, we're going to continue along here because I want to make sure we keep you up to date on some things that are going on. I want to let you know where we stand with calls to nationalize elections here in the United States of America. President Trump has actually called for this to happen with midterms right around the corner. And it's something that Democratic lawmakers say is really a non-starter. Democrats on Capitol Hill well are sounding the alarm about this, actually. And this comes after the Trump administration is trying to hold on to what they say is voting security. They want to make sure elections are secure. On Monday, the president suggested letting the federal government run the upcoming midterm elections. He said in part, quote, "We should take over the voting in at least 15 places," adding, quote, "The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting," end quote. Democrats claim that's part of an ongoing power grab by the White House. The new controversy comes as lawmakers from both parties are asking questions about the recent FBI raid on a Board of Elections warehouse right here in Fulton County, Georgia, and Fairburn specifically. On Monday, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, admitted in a letter to Congress that President Trump, quote, "specifically directed her to be present, and she put the president in direct contact with the agents in charge of the raid." Administration officials say there was nothing wrong with the president's request, claiming Democrats are politicizing an issue that should be left to the courts. Last week, we were able to listen in as Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche talked about the situation in Georgia, and he said that various groups within the Trump administration communicate with each other all the time, and he said that her presence there shouldn't be alarming and shouldn't be questioned. But the Justice Department is asking a number of Democrat-led states to turn over their voter rolls, and they're doing this to create a national voter file. No doubt this is going to be a story we continue to talk about. You'll find the latest information right here as we let you know what's happening on Fox Local. I also want to let you know about where we stand with a ongoing situation. You're taking a look at the Clintons, specifically Hillary and Bill, who have both agreed to testify in the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. The former president, former Secretary of State, agreed last night to testify in a House investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, attorneys for the Clintons say the couple will testify before the House Oversight Committee to avoid a looming vote that could happen later on if they did not testify, and that would ultimately hold them in contempt of Congress. They don't want to face those charges, so they've agreed to come in and testify, and they've agreed to appear for depositions on mutually agreed upon dates about their alleged ties to Epstein. The House Oversight Committee Chair, James Comer, says he is yet to receive anything in writing and has not ruled out moving forward with criminal contempt charges if he doesn't hear anything further. Those criminal contempt charges could lead to fines or even incarceration. And if they pass through the House and are successfully prosecuted by the Justice Department, that is what could follow. So we'll continue to keep you updated. But I just learned, because this afternoon the House was voting on legislation that would end a partial government shutdown. And I want to let you know where this stands, because as of today, the House voted 217 to 214 to fund major parts of the government and end the partial shutdown. And this is going to bring an end to a 4-day standoff that was happening over a fight for funding for the Department of Homeland Security. President Trump had urged Republicans to back this legislation, and he's expected to sign this bill into law very soon here. Getting that bill across the finish line did present some challenges, but ultimately House Speaker Mike Johnson convinced a handful of GOP holdouts to vote for the bill. It includes 5 full-year spending bills and an extension of Department of Homeland Security funding through February 13th. So at least for the next week or two, the Department of Homeland Security will be funded. Democrats are demanding reforms to how immigration's enforcement agencies like ICE conduct their operations. It's an issue that's now going to become a focus of negotiations on Capitol Hill as we move forward. Immigration services, however, will not be affected by another lapse since they received a separate influx of money last year. So, guys, we're going to continue to keep you updated on this developing situation as it follows. I want to let you know coming up, we're going to get a check of your weather forecast with meteorologist Alex Forbes. If you've stepped outside, you know we're in a bit of a pickle here in Georgia when 44 degrees feels warm, or, you know, the late 30s start to feel warm. We're going to talk with Alex about how we're going to warm up this week, what we could see with any potential for rain chances, and all of that is coming up next. Welcome in, you guys. I'm Ariel Onstad here with meteorologist Alex Forbes. And if you guys have been streaming along with us here, Fox Local, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you're watching, we've had a few technical difficulties. We should be right back on track now. We've rebooted a few things, but if it looked grainy or strange, we know we are aware of those issues. So, Alex, right back on track. Yeah, we kicked it. We restarted it, much like we did to weather in Georgia. We gave it a kick. We tried to restart it, and maybe it's gotten the memo that we want it warmer now.
I thought you were going to say we kicked the groundhog.
Well, if
6
I'm
more
Alex
weeks
Forbes,
of winter.
I probably would do that.
Yeah, I'm still a little disappointed Paul didn't abduct the groundhog yesterday down there at Dawson Trails. I texted him and he wouldn't do it. So I tell you what, so the groundhog said 6 more weeks of winter.
Okay.
By and large, I think I agree. I think we're going to be cooler than average, but this week is not necessarily going to be the perfect example of that necessarily.
Listen, I will take the anomaly.
I will as well. Look, we're 11 degrees warmer than this time yesterday here in Atlanta. 10 degrees warmer in Dalton and in Canton, 14 degrees warmer in Blairsville, and 13 degrees warmer over in Eatonton. Now, Fox 5 Live Viper, right? Anytime you warm up this time of year, there's usually a price to pay, and the price is going to be showers arriving really within the next couple of hours. So you got the system out to the west, and that's going to, or is bringing rain from really the Nashville area now, still reeling from ice storm impacts up there, back through parts of Mississippi, Alabama, down into Louisiana, and this part of a larger cold front that's sliding towards north and central Georgia, and that is going to bring some cooler air back into the picture by the time we get to Thursday. Nothing crazy, certainly nothing like last week, but it is going to be in the picture. Now, let's talk about the evening commute. We've got showers moving in, a 60% chance of rain. This is going to be sliding really from northwest to southeast through the evening hours, and some of that's lingering for tomorrow morning with that rain chance at 40%. And 20% there for Wednesday evening, so gradually tapering off. Here's how it shakes out. There's 6 o'clock tonight on into the evening hours, overnight rain, and that's going to about do it for us once we get all of that mess out of here. So there you go with some rainfall totals. I think generally speaking between 1/4 to 1/2 inch. We need more than that, and we really don't have much of an opportunity to pick that up out of this system at least. Smooth sailing out of that, 56 for Friday, 58 Saturday, 60 on Sunday. Sounds like an A+ forecast to me. I will take all the credit, not the groundhog.
I have to say this weekend, I think for the past 3 weekends, we've just been cooped up inside between winter weather, ice storms, snow,
tornadoes.
Spin the wheel. Georgia will provide.
We're gonna have a meteor next week. No.
Stop. No, you're gonna jinx us.
Yeah.
60 and somewhat sunny in January in Georgia after what we've been through.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, don't bother Alex. He needs this.
Well, you know what the irony is? I'm going out of town this weekend to Indiana. The high on 29 is, or the high on Saturday is 29. So I don't even get to enjoy it.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I did it to myself.
Yeah. Alex, thank you so much.
Yep.
Guys, let's take a live look outside really briefly, just as we said Alex on his way to see that sunshine we've been talking about. Looks pretty good outside. I have to say, being able to step out and not need the heavy jacket I've gotten used to, pretty sweet, if you ask me. Maybe you guys feel the same way. Let me know. We're here live on TikTok, YouTube. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions, and we'll try to answer them. But in the meantime, I'd like to switch gears here and talk about a story that's had a lot of people talking here as we continue with the latest in the Tara Baker trial. We are on day 2 of this, and we're taking a look at this 2001 murder of Tara Baker. She was a UGA law student, and this trial has entered its second day in an Athrum's courtroom. Prosecutors claim the evidence identifies Edric Faust as the killer with near certainty. However, the defense is arguing that the investigation was flawed and that Faust is being used as a scapegoat to provide closure for the community. No doubt the details of this story have been very disturbing. Today, we actually heard testimony from one of Tara Baker's close law school student friends, and actually the person who was last to hear her alive. There was the two of them studied together outside the library 7:30 in the evening the night before Tara Baker's body was discovered. That friend later received a phone call from Baker, who said she planned to leave the library around 10 that evening. That call was the last time anyone heard from her. Let's take a listen to part of this testimony.
Yes, I was supposed to call her when I got home, and I did not.
All right. And so did you receive a phone call that evening?
Yes, she she called me about 9:30, maybe 9:45, and then she admonished me, scolded me because I had failed to call her, but I just didn't mean anything bad. I just forgot.
Okay. Do you need a cup of water or a moment?
I have some. Thank you so much.
There's some tissues over there beside you if you see them and need them. Is that the last time you ever talked to Tara?
Yeah. I think the last thing she ever said to me was I said, hello, and she said, you did not call me. And I said, I know, I'm so sorry. And she said, but you're okay? I said, I am. And she said, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And that was kind of it.
You could tell her friend was very emotional there on the stand as she remembered her last conversation with Tara. This is a trial we're going to continue to keep an eye on. I know a lot of you have questions and are continuing to watch this as we stream it live. We'll continue to let you know as we get any new information, and you can find it right here on Fox Local. Guys, as we continue very briefly, I want to get you an update as to where we stand with the latest in the search for NBC News anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother in Arizona. At this point, investigators believe that her mother was kidnapped. They say that there is a crime scene at her mother's home, and her mother is 84 years old. You're taking a look at Nancy Guthrie right now, and the search is growing more desperate near Tucson, Arizona, because investigators believe Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and they fear her life may be in jeopardy. They say that she was abducted from her Arizona home overnight Saturday and may have been harmed in the process. They did find blood outside of or inside the home and signs of forced entry. The sheriff's office has been tight-lipped there in Pima County, but details are starting to emerge. We have learned the sheriff noted Guthrie's wallet and phone were left behind, as well as vital medication. And if she doesn't take it, this could be deadly for Nancy Guthrie. So just a tragic situation. Savannah Guthrie posted online overnight, calling her mom a woman of deep conviction, saying everyone is praying and they are hoping for the best in this situation. At this point, the sheriff says nothing indicates Nancy Guthrie was targeted because of her daughter's high-profile job, but some experts do think that it could be in play. Investigators are reviewing security cameras from Guthrie's home, and the sheriff is asking any nearby neighbors for any footage that they may have. In a news conference today, the sheriff and the FBI special agent in charge actually called for people in that area to call the FBI if they saw or heard anything around the time that this unfolded on Saturday. If they were in the area Saturday night, heard anything, to call the FBI immediately. They say the public is their eyes and ears on this as they are going through thousands of tips and trying to find out the latest information and what is going on with her mother's case. So let's go ahead and listen into part of this news conference. We'll bring you back here in just a little bit.
Morning. I don't know that everybody knows who's here. Of course, I'm Sheriff Chris Natos. John Edwards is the Tucson chief here for the FBI, and he'll have some words for you as well. This is really, for me, pretty new. All the media attention. So I apologize to you for sometimes I'm speaking in generalities, and I'm not used to everybody hanging on to my words and then trying to hold me accountable for what I say, but I understand. So we're going to try our best to be succinct with you in the future, and also more important for you to understand is we have a lot of work in front of us. We have a job to do, and we have someone's life who is in jeopardy. And so job number one is we got to find her, and we got to work hard to do that. I understand there's great attention on this, and rightfully so, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for it, because it has generated a lot of leads for us. And so we're tracking those leads, and we're doing things with evidence that you would expect us to be doing. So having said that, we're going to set this up. I know that a number of you yesterday, you guys drove me crazy. Yesterday I was going from a.m. to all the way till 9, 10, 11, midnight, answering concerns and questions, and it's just too tough, and it's not fair to the case. So what I'm going to tell you is today we're going to do this similar to what we're doing right now. here we'll take questions. It's not really my briefing, it's your briefing. You'll be able to ask us some questions. We'll probably shut you off after a while because I just can't be here all day. We have work to do. But we'll take some questions, and then in a couple of days, unless something breaks, we'll do this every couple of days. So, and we'll set up with you through our PIO teams to give you anything that comes up that might change, but clearly they will notify you on these what I call media briefings. So with that, I'm going to ask John to come up. If you've got a statement to say, John, and then we'll take some questions and we'll get back to work.
Hello, I'm John Edwards. My spelling is Jonedwards. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Tucson. First, we want the community to know that the FBI is doing everything in our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing...
You're listening to FBI Special Agent in charge for the Tucson field office talk a little bit about what they're doing to find Nancy Guthrie. As you guys probably surmised by listening to this news conference, there is no new information, just that the FBI is truly asking for the public's help, and they are doing everything they can to follow up on thousands of tips that they have received, as well as using technology, cell phone data, and other things to try to find her. We're going to continue to keep you updated right here on Fox Local, but in the meantime, we're going to go out to San Francisco as we take a look at the upcoming Super Bowl festivities. That's on the other side. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Ariel Onstad. It's great to have you here live with us. And we're going to take a look out in San Francisco as we get ready for the Super Bowl. You're taking a live look there at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. And we've got Fox's Christian Captain ready to give us an overview of what we're doing with the Super Bowl this year. And Christian, I have to ask, first of all, where are you? And second of all, I think you're standing behind the team every Atlantan wishes were in the Super Bowl this year.
I was gonna say, Ariel, this is a little taste of what could have been, right? You know, where my dirty birds at? We are actually in. It's called Moscone. I know. It's a little heartbreaking, but we are inside Moscone Center. This is a huge convention center here in San Francisco, where they've set up the whole Super Bowl experience. You can see it's not just Atlanta, but if you take a look, you can see they have New Orleans over here, and the Bears, Vikings, and there's some teams down there that we don't really want to talk too much about because, you know, sometimes we're not big fans of some of these teams, perhaps even the ones that are actually playing in the Super Bowl because maybe they're NFC rivals, so I don't really know how that works out. In any case, there is a ton for stuff for people to do if they want to come out here. Like I said, it is cavernous in here. It's actually like 500,000 square feet, and there is so much for fans to see and do. And one of the things, of course, is check out your own team and show a little love to your own team. Being here in San Francisco, I know that we were talking about how, you know, the Falcons didn't make it, but my 49ers here, they didn't make it either. So maybe next year. There's always next year. That's the greatest thing about NFL is there's always next year. And in the offseason, it's a time of optimism. But the big thing is that there's so much interactive stuff down here. Now, it's empty right now. Doors actually open at 3 o'clock our time, and that is when we're expecting fans to flood in. And one of the things that the NFL has really done is they've tried to make sure that this is an interactive and really like deep feeling kind of experience for NFL fans, and actually maybe get a chance to see what it's like for those NFL players. If you take a look over there, that is the 40-yard dash, and legit, they actually said that they make people sign a waiver before they do it because so many dads come out and say, oh, I can beat you against their like 13, 14, 15-year-old sons, that they like blow hammies and like all the things, right? Because dads, look.
You got a lot to prove.
Speaking
you got
of
a
which,
lot to prove.
I know. And it's sometimes you see these young kids coming up and you still think you got it and maybe you don't. So speaking of which, I have a 14-year-old at home, and he is on a flag football team, and they're doing great, by the way. They're undefeated so far in the season. They're 4 games in. They're doing fantastic. The team is the Longhorns, and they're killing it. One of the kids on the team is actually a soccer player and baseball player, but also now a football player. So he kicks, and this kid is amazing. He's 14 years old. He's already kicking from 45 yards out. Now, this is substantially closer than 45 yards. I think this is probably like maybe 10 or 20. And I'm going to embarrass myself for you, Ariel.
Oh,
just for you.
Christian, wow, what a treat.
Because right, exactly. It's like a little treat for everybody, right? Everybody except for me, who has to live with this on YouTube on repeat over and over and over and over again. So the point is that I've asked this kid for pointers, and he said, and you can even see they've kind of cheated a little bit here and put an X on the back of the ball, and you want to aim for that underside right there and try to get underneath it. Now, I have done a couple of practice kicks, and I will say that my photographer, Martin, has not been particularly supportive of my efforts. The last time I shanked it, he was not especially supportive of me here. So we'll see how I do. Now, this is what the kids do, right? I know, right? That's editorializing. He's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to be supporting me and lifting me, right? Okay, so I'm going to plant here and kick. So I'm going to come on back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right, you want to count me down, Ariel?
Okay, from 5 or 3?
You pick. I like them both.
All right.
They're both prime numbers.
Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so it was on target this time. A little short from 20 yards.
You know?
And you know what? So the thing is, I could feel when I kicked it, I knew it wasn't going to go great. And so
from where I'm standing, you made it
look
through.
As bad as it feels. Right. But yeah, so well, right, we'll just kind of go, we'll get one of these and hope for the best and hope nobody kind of does any reviews, right? As long as there's no review, I think we're okay.
Yeah, Christian.
But that's, so, Ariel, the point being that that's a taste of what you can do out here, right? That's a sense of all the kind of interactive stuff they have for fans out here. Doors open at 3 p.m., so fans are going to really get a chance to do all kinds of amazing, fun stuff out here.
I love that you're able to give us a sneak peek. This has been so fun. You know, you took us through Heartbreak Row to start with the Saints, New Orleans, you know, the Chicago Bears, Atlanta Falcons. It was like, ugh. And then you just uplifted our spirits with that rousing performance. So, Christian, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I'll let you get back to it. I won't keep too much of your time. Have fun in San Francisco. We're going to see you back here at 3 o'clock with Tom Haynes. So, Christian, thanks so much. That was fun. I needed that. Maybe you guys did too. Big thanks to Christian for giving us that entertainment in San Francisco as we get ready for the Super Bowl this Sunday. You guys, coming up next, we have a lot of other things to get to. If you're trying to get hired here in 2026, Chris Rosenthal is going to show us how a county is hiring for a lot of really big jobs. That's on the other side. Welcome in, you guys. I'm Ariel Onstadt. It is great to see y'all here on our Tuesday afternoon. And if you're looking for a job in 2026, maybe new year, new you, or maybe just new year, new wallet. Who wouldn't want that, right? More money in the bank. Chris Rosenthal is going to show us how we can get hired with Gwinnett County. So, Chris, thanks so much for joining us live. What kinds of jobs, roles, positions are they looking to fill?
You know what? I'm first of all at the Gas South Arena in Gwinnett County, where Gwinnett County has been holding this career fair through much of the day. It's winding down a little bit here, wraps up officially at 3, but there's still plenty of people in line. I mean, I'll just kind of pan the camera around. Plenty of people in line trying to meet up with recruiters and other folks here in different departments. They've had 16 different departments represented here. At this career fair, and thousands of people actually have showed up to come, seeing what sort of job opportunities there are, meet with recruiters, show their resume, put their best foot forward. They've had an opportunity to meet with resume experts to go over their resumes, and some people even had the opportunity to get an interview today as well. So I am joined here by is Adrienne McAllister. She is the director of human resources here at Gwinnett County. So first of all, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you, Chris.
And I know the day's kind of ramping up, but just tell me a little bit about what's been on tap today.
So this is our fifth year of doing this event, and it has been an amazing event today. We've seen about 2,500, almost 2,600 candidates that are interested in opportunities with Gwinnett County. And so what we've seen today is people coming in, having an opportunity to talk with county representatives, learn a lot about what it is that the county offers, and see where those transferable skills exist. What do you do now, and how does it apply, or how is it applicable to a job and opportunity with Gwinnett County? So they've come in, they've applied for jobs, we've even had interviews, and it's the start of the process in becoming one of our Gwinnett County standard bearers.
And some of the departments, I mean, tell me where some of the need really is here.
Right now, the main need for staffing is within our public safety, specifically our law enforcement departments. That's where the lion's share of the vacancies exist. But there are opportunities throughout the entire organization. So we're continuing to look for people. If you're interested, there's always an opportunity to go online, GwinnettCountyJobs.com, and submit an application.
What advice do you have for the people that are coming out to something like this, searching for a job, or maybe they're going to go apply and look for something?
Be curious. And I say that because there are so many opportunities. Sometimes what you currently do now may be available within Gwinnett County and you didn't even think about it. So think about what your skills are and how they transfer and how they may be applicable to something that we offer to the community.
Gotcha. What are you seeing out of some of the candidates here today?
I've seen, like I said, a lot of curiosity. People are coming in and they want to know what is available. What does the county offer? We've had some positions as far as trades positions, like I said, public safety, even some professional level positions. So we've had a lot of conversations with people that want to understand how can they contribute and how can Gwinnett County be that employer of choice.
Yeah, and just looking at the variety of positions that you that are available that you guys have, it's it seems like it's all different levels of experience.
It absolutely is. So those that are starting, just getting into the career fields, those that are more experienced or even looking to change, there's something pretty much for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, again, if people miss this, there's still plenty of jobs. There's about how many jobs are open right now in the county?
Right now, I believe we have about 70 jobs that are published on our website. So go ahead and take a look at GwinnettCountyJobs.com. And like I said, we're looking for the best and the brightest.
Gotcha. GwinnettCountyJobs.com. Take a look there. If you're looking for something, plenty of jobs, various different departments to look for. Law enforcement's one of the big ones, but they've got water here. They've got support services, financial services, communications, human resources, bit of everything here. And I'll tell you, it's really cool. They also had some panel discussions where people really got to sit, talk with some folks from some of these specific departments and ask a lot of questions and just if nothing else from the very beginning, just learning what some of these departments do and how they may fit into them.
Chris, I loved her advice, especially as it related to just being patient and having an open mind, because it seems like there are a lot of really wonderful opportunities here. And so often, I'm guilty of this myself, where I go in with a specific idea of a specific kind of job that I want, but then I might end up finding myself leaning towards something I didn't expect. And because I kept that open mind, I was actually able to find a role that was really good for me. So I appreciated kind of her advice and words of wisdom there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of what they call transferable skills. So something that you may do in a current job, some experience you have, it may apply to something else, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to convey that and how to sell that to a potential future employer.
Chris, thanks so much for taking us here today, letting us know how we can get hired. Best of luck to all those people waiting in line and hoping to get a job. Wonderful opportunities there in Gwinnett County. Chris Rosenthal, thank you. Guys, we're going to move on here because I want to let you know where we stand with the Atlanta Falcons hiring a new general manager. Today, we have about a minute or two to listen in as they talked about this today. They're introducing Ian Cunningham as the new general manager for the Atlanta Falcons. Let's listen in as President of Football Matt Ryan addressed this hiring.
All right, thank you, Brett. I want to start by saying thank you to the search committee. It's been a busy couple of weeks for sure, but I said it in the last press conference for Kevin as well. Their tireless effort and attention to detail, was inspiring for me to be a part of and to see from them. And I think the fruits of that labor are here in Kevin and both Ian. So a big thank you to them. A big thank you to Arthur for his guidance during the process. My first time going through both searches, and his wisdom and guidance was extremely helpful. So thank you very much. Now to Ian. We are excited to have Ian as a part of the Atlanta Falcons. His time frame in the league starts at the same time as mine, 2008, where he started with the Baltimore Ravens and spent the seasons from 2008 to 2016 in Baltimore. Went from...
So you're listening in as Matt Ryan addresses the hiring of Ian Cunningham. He comes from the Chicago Bears. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this here coming up at 3 o'clock with our Victor Prieto as he talks about what this is going to mean for the team. But in the meantime, Tom Haynes here on the desk, ready to talk about what we've got coming up at 3.
Well, good to see Matt Ryan kind of flexing, if you will, in his new role and getting the front office of the Falcons assembled piece by piece. We're going to check in with Victor Prieto coming up here in the 3 p.m. hour about what this means for the Falcons and Cunningham's background and what he will bring to this team. Also ahead with the November 2026 elections, Ariel, right around the corner, there are some in our own state house who want to eliminate not only the state income tax, but property taxes. You have a lot of candidates running in the gubernatorial level. Here comes the Senate race in our state. And many of those in the state house want to weigh in on property taxes because they're going up so high in so many of the municipalities. So we're going to check in with Deidre Dukes here coming up here in the 3 p.m. streaming hour, in addition to a ton of other stuff. So stay with us.
Awesome. Tom, looking forward to it. You guys, thanks for streaming with me. And we're going to have more news for you coming up in the next couple of minutes.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes, with you here live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. So glad you're streaming with us here on the streaming app, Fox Local, or if you're watching on your home TV or joining us on our YouTube channel, Fox 5 Atlanta, TikTok, wherever you are, or on the radio. We're also on 107.9 HD2 FM. Certainly glad you're listening to us today. We have a lot to get to. Buckle up. It's a busy day of news. We're going to begin at the State House with Deidre Dukes, who's monitoring a situation there. Deidre, boy, we got the 2026 midterms right around the corner with huge consequences here in our own state on both the Senate and the gubernatorial level. Now some Republicans in both the State House there are advocating for a reduction in property taxes, something that a lot of counties have been grappling with, and a lot of people, a lot of property owners are unhappy with because they feel that property taxes just keep going higher. So we're talking about some proposals where they're going to eliminate the state income tax, and now you have state lawmakers talking about doing the same thing, but on the property tax level.
That's right. Talk of capping the property tax, and also we're hearing some talk bills that could be passed that would also move to eliminate ultimately the property tax here in Georgia. Democrats and Republicans saying they want the same thing. They say they want to help Georgians keep more money in their pockets, but in some respects, oftentimes they have differing ideas as to how to go about that. Well, Senate Republicans, one thing that they voted to do today, and this was a bipartisan vote, is pass a bill that would in fact cap property taxes, set limits on property taxes. And so that was Senate Bill 382, and it passed by a bipartisan vote of 31-19. The Republican-backed bill would make a statewide property tax caps mandatory, and it did generate some debate there on the Senate floor today. Some Democrats expressing concerns about the legislation, concerned about its long-term impact on tax revenue for local governments that would be impacted. Now, we also talked to Republican Senator Chuck Hufstetler. He is sponsoring the legislation, and it would require annual limits on rising home values statewide and stop local governments from opting out. Here's what he had to say.
This would just restore it to where the homeowner property only is limited to the rate of inflation on increases as long as you stay in your home. All the other property is still unchecked, and if they want to, they can always raise the millage rate.
Now, we also did talk to Democratic Senate leaders. Some have expressed concerns. For instance, we talked to Augusta Minority Leader Harold Jones, Senate Minority Leader. His district voted to opt out of the homestead exemption in 2025, and he said that he wonders, again, how these local governments would make up that lost tax revenue if this cap is set in place. Here's what he had to say.
It would be very difficult for some people to go back home and say, look, I know we had this big debate over this issue, and I know we went back and forth, and the voters went and voted on it, but now I unilaterally have determined that we're going to change that. So I think the bill is very problematic when we're only 2 years in.
And again, that bill did pass the Senate today, so now it heads over to the House for consideration. Important to note that the House actually also has its own bill package that it's trying to pass in regards to property tax. Of course, we've heard a lot about how the House Republicans are moving to eliminate altogether property tax by 2032. So a lot of legislation around this subject, Tom. In fact, we did hear from the House Speaker. He issued a written statement earlier today saying Georgia Republicans are united in our dedication to deliver real, meaningful property tax relief to homeowners across our state. The House remains committed to not only capping increases in assessments, but eliminating homestead property taxes entirely for Georgia's families, homeowners, and hardworking taxpayers. So we can expect over the next several weeks, coming months, to hear a lot about what's the best way to accomplish this if any of these bills actually make it across across the finish line and onto the governor's desk for his signature.
Yeah, it seems at this point anyway, Deidre, to be a bit of a free-for-all for these counties who act unilaterally, raising millage rates, property taxes, and in some cases it's forcing homeowners out of their homes because they can no longer afford the taxation that goes along with home ownership. That paired with high interest rates, and you have a situation where housing becomes unaffordable. So I wonder if the interest there at the State House is more on the side of regulating and, as you say, capping these taxes, or is there another push and just as an aggressive one to sort of eliminate them altogether?
Well, that's what they're going to be looking at here in coming weeks, is which, of the bills are the best, whether to cap property taxes or should the elimination of taxes altogether, should that be the route to go. Of course, you'll hear on the other side concern from lawmakers who are, they say they want to do something to help homeowners as far as alleviate some of this property tax burden that's on them. But at the same time, they're concerned that, hey, if you cap property taxes or you get rid of property taxes altogether, that revenue is just going to be generated somewhere else, whether it be through a sales tax or something of that nature. And so they're saying, you alleviate the issue in one area, but then you stack it up in another area. And so that's really the concern among those who kind of raise the red flags in regards to some of these bills.
Do you get the feeling, Deidre, and since you hang out at the State House a lot for your reporting, that this legislative session is busier than others because we're in an election year?
Well, of course, it's no surprise that we heard starting last year with some of the elections late in the year about affordability. Affordability, that's become the buzzword. And so we are hearing from Republicans and Democrats in regards to a lot of the legislation that we're seeing in regards to, eliminating the state income tax, efforts to do that, efforts to cap or eliminate the property tax exemption, that we really are seeing more of that as we move forward, as we head into the midterms, because it is, in some corners it's seen as something that they'll be able to run on here in coming months, what they were able to do to help ease the financial burden on Georgia residents.
Yeah, as you say, that affordability issue, a hot topic running into the 2026 midterm elections. And it'll be interesting to see how legislation on the state level moves through and how that pairs with what our statewide elected representatives are advocating for in their respective races, both for the United States Senate and the governor's mansion, how those two sort of coincide. Deidre Dukes at the state capitol. Deidre, thanks. Quite a bizarre story happening in Decatur to tell you about this afternoon. Decatur police are continuing their search for the man who they say shot another man inside the library. I don't know if you've ever been inside of the Decatur library. It's a really cool space, usually a very quiet one and peaceful one, but investigators say that 44-year-old Medicus Brown and this victim got into some kind of argument Monday evening while using a computer there at the library. The computers are in an area that's virtually surrounded by glass all the way around the building. And so you have a clear shot, if you will, from the street into the library. So you can see everything both from the outside and inside looking outside. So they say Medicus Brown pulled out a gun after these two guys got into an argument in the computer area, shot the victim, who was then taken to the hospital, according to police, in critical condition. Police estimating that about 40 to 50 people were, as I said, it's a popular library. A lot of people go there. So like 40 to 50 people, according to police, were inside the library when this shooting happened on Monday, when that gunfire rang out. Imagine the terror that also spread through that facility when this shooting happened. So we're continuing to follow the status of that victim and the charges that Medicus Brown will face. The city of Jonesboro has decriminalized possession of small amounts of marijuana. City Council approved an ordinance that will reduce the penalty for possession of less than an ounce of marijuana. A lot of other municipalities are doing the same thing. Jonesboro now in that group of municipalities. Violators, though, if you're caught, are still going to face a $150 fine. One city councilman says that reducing the penalty will free up police and resources to focus on more serious offenses. The ordinance will treat possession of less than an ounce of marijuana as a civil offense, eliminating jail time. But again, paying that $150 fine, the ordinance went into effect immediately. Let's talk about a story from Fayette County now, where we've been telling you about a former Fayette County deputy who was the recipient of a new kidney back in December after a 3-year wait. All right, so she received the kidney through a paired exchange program. Our Doug Evans brought her emotional journey. Doug joins us now live with her condition this afternoon and how she's doing. Doug?
Hey, good afternoon, Tom. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm in Griffin. This is where Shayna McCoy lives and works. It's a community that has been following her story as well. I first met her over in Fayette County, where she was a deputy for 9 years. She was a dispatcher for 2 years. That's kind of a common thing for dispatchers to move to the sheriff's office eventually as road deputies, and she did. As you say, it was a 3-year wait for a kidney. She has been in kidney failure for 3 years. She's had a disease that caused it since she was 18. She's 41 now. She, Tom, is 42 days post-op from a kidney transplant, and she is back at work, doing well and very grateful, not just for herself, but for her family as well. Let's hear from Shayna. I want you to point to where your new kidney is.
It's right here.
Right there in the front.
Right there in the front. That is not what I expected.
What? Right. I mean, what did you think when you got up and you've got this, I guess, scar or something there?
Oh yeah, the scar is from here to here. It's about 7 inches long, and I had 24 staples in. So.
And that had to have been painful.
It was very painful. It was a painful recovery. About week 4 is when I started feeling a lot better and noticed a difference.
Oh, but Shayna, I mean, it's had to have been like good pain in some way.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was. It was, such a relief to get this kidney and be able to live a normal life again.
What does it mean for your family?
It means so much. It means the world. It just means the world to all of us that Tim was able to do this for me and donate a kidney for me and give me a whole new, fresh beginning at life.
Yeah. I don't really remember what your kidney issue was.
It all started from an autoimmune disease called IgA vasculitis. It showed up when I was 18 with spots all over my body. Okay. And it progressed into kidney failure.
Have I ever asked you your age?
I'm 41.
Okay, you don't mind sharing?
Absolutely not. No, I'm 41.
Okay, good. I'll give you the last word. What do you want people to know about this experience, this journey that you've been on?
I want people on dialysis that are on the kidney transplant list to not give up hope, because your day is coming. It may take a few years, but your day is coming. Do not ever give up hope.
All right, Shayna McCoy there, 42 days post-op. She got her kidney, her new kidney, transplanted kidney on December 23rd at Piedmont Atlanta Hospital. Man, they crank them out there at that hospital, do a good job. Feeling great, feeling grateful. She talked about Tim. Tim is Tim Torberg, who donated a kidney to another man. Tim was too old to donate to Shayna. He donated to another man, but that gave him a voucher. And with that voucher, he could move somebody up the transplant list. He'd read about Shayna, and so he picked her name, moved her up, and that's how she ended up with her kidney, Tom.
Amazing, Doug, the sobriety with which she tells her kidney transplant journey. First of all, I can't believe she's only 42 days out. She looks incredibly amazing. But
Yeah.
You know, while she should be gleeful and happy and joyful, she's very sort of sober in her recount of her whole experience, how serious this is, and the fact that so many other people are going through her same journey.
You know, maybe that's the deputy in her, or maybe not. Maybe she's just that way. She's a lovely person, and we've gotten to know each other over the last year. Her families, I've met her sons, just a really great person. They speak highly of her at the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. She had to quit being a road deputy, Tom, when she began daily dialysis. So it just got too much, and she left the road, left law enforcement. I asked her today if she missed it. She said she really does. And so, but now she's dialysis free with her transplant. And she told me that she and her husband are going to Alabama for a big concert. Somebody gave her some tickets, so they're getting out of town for the first time in 3 years since she's been off dialysis with this new kidney. So we wish her well.
So we certainly do, and you might have already mentioned this, Doug, but does she have hopes or aspirations to get back out onto the streets, or is that something that is really not possible for her at this point?
You know, I think that she wants to get back into investigations in some way, but I think that you know, I just don't know. I asked her about that, and I don't want to disclose what she does. She works kind of in the court system right now. It's not something that she and I discussed beforehand, so I don't want to say too much about that, but she hopes to use her position now to get back into investigations somehow, but not on the road. No, I don't think that's a hard life, and they do a good job out there.
No, it is, and you've demonstrated that in your reporting, the tough work that they do. Is she, before I let you go, gonna, because transplanting, especially kidneys and other vital organs, is so important, going to use her experience to be an advocate now moving forward for other folks to get transplants and to maybe be a cheerleader for those having to sit through the dialysis process?
Yeah, Tom, I would think that that's in the cards for her. She hasn't said so specifically, but listen, she's been very vocal on Facebook and other social media platforms. She had been connected with a program called In the Wait, which works with those people who need transplants and getting their stories out there, and also telling the transplant story, the need. Something like 30-something thousand people in the U.S. are in full kidney failure. So this In the Wait program is something that's really close to her heart, Tom, and I would not be surprised if this is the last we've heard of Shana McCoy.
All right. We, as you said, certainly wish her well, Doug, and her continued journey and healing and her road back to health. Doug Evans for us live. Doug, thanks. When we continue, we're going to get an update. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk back in court today. In addition to a check of our forecast, meteorologist Alex Forbes is here to tell us what the rest of our work week is going to look like, and our chances for some rain rolling in here very shortly as we continue. Welcome back to Fox Local, everybody. Thanks so much for streaming with us here in the 3 p.m. hour. Tom Haynes, joined by meteorologist Alex Forbes. To talk about our weather. Alex, a really nice work week so far, but we may be getting wet here in the next day or so.
I think probably within the next couple of hours here in the metro area. We've got the rain on our doorstep now. It's crossing I-59 over there in Alabama. It's going to begin to move in towards metro Atlanta. I'm thinking really as the evening commute is wrapping up. So most people are going to make it home dry, but then shortly after you get home, let's put it this way. I wouldn't plan on grilling out tonight across the area. So let's get to it. A live look here at Fox 5 Live Viper, 59 in Atlanta, 57 in Canton. You see, so I've got the radar in Peachtree City turned on, so it's just clipping the very edge of the rain up there in northwest Alabama. But when I zoom out and turn on all the radars, you see that cold front's really pushing that rain into northwest Georgia as we speak, and that's going to spread across the metro area into the evening hours tonight. So looking for showers moving in, a 60% chance of rain this evening, and then lingering sprinkles for tomorrow morning's commute. That rain chance at 40%, and the more data I've seen this afternoon, I think the longer that lasts into the day on Wednesday, meaning we get to noon, 1, 2 o'clock, and we still have showers out there before things begin to wrap up for the evening. We will have wet roads in some spots still, but for the evening tonight, notice that rain chance really begins to go up 7, 9 o'clock, and that's going to stick with us through the overnight hours as temperatures fall down into the 40s. So all rain. Look at these numbers. Nothing below freezing overnight. 48 in Atlanta, 45 in Covington, 44 in Eatonton. All that wintry nonsense is behind us. Add on to that, the mornings are not as cold as they have been. We've been seeing lows in the teens and the 20s. Well, for the foreseeable future, I've got overnight lows in the 30s for the most part. Our average low is 36. That's about where we should be. But look at next Tuesday, 44. That doesn't seem too bad. So cold bus stops. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're still going to be on the cooler side, but, 48 tomorrow is not going to feel too bad. I think the thing tomorrow is going to be the rain chance across the area before things begin to clear out for the afternoon. Let's tunnel vision to the weekend, why don't we? 55 on Saturday, 62 on Sunday, cool mornings, warm afternoons, relatively speaking. I think Sunday is probably the pick of the weekend, and if you like that 62 on Sunday, just wait till you see Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
67 by the time we get to next Tuesday. So we go from way below average to way above average.
Yeah.
This, as we work our way towards spring, which is now 45 days away, gets started on March 20th. For the time being, the groundhog, the 6 more weeks of winter groundhog, yeah, I don't see that at least for week 1. I think weeks 2 through 6, though, will probably be back below average. Not by much. Certainly nothing like what we just did, but I think when you average out the month of February, when it's all said and done, it'll be slightly below average.
Wow, after 3 weekends of, as you called it, wintry nonsense.
Yeah.
Finally get a nice weekend where it's, going to be mild and sunny.
Right.
And a great opportunity to start getting out and doing some of those springtime chores, even though spring's 45 days away.
But remember back to fall, we have false fall.
Yeah, we did.
This is going to be false spring, right? 65, 67 next Monday and Tuesday. That's not
Alex,
here to stay.
let us enjoy it for 5 minutes, will you?
Well, I can do you one better. I can let you enjoy it for 2 days.
No, but the rain that's going to roll in tonight after the evening commute, more of an overnight situation into early tomorrow, or move out pretty fast?
I think it lingers a little more into tomorrow early afternoon, and certainly by tomorrow evening it'll all be out.
All right. Alex, thanks. I want to take you live now to some pictures inside the courtroom where the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, there's a hearing going on right now. The defense is arguing a conflict of interest. That is the judge in this case. Tyler Robinson is set to appear in a Utah County court. We've been anticipating this day and this hearing related to his alleged involvement in Kirk's assassination, which, as you remember all too well, happened last September. The defense expected to continue its argument from last month, claiming a personal conflict of interest with one of the prosecutors. What am I talking about here? Well, the defense is alleging that one of the prosecutor's children was an attendee of some of Kirk's rallies, the one in particular where he was gunned down, and that therefore there could be some sort of conflict of interest. They are arguing that to the judge, as you see one of the attorneys standing now in the courtroom. The 18-year-old daughter of one of the prosecutors is who I'm talking about, who attended the Turning Point USA rally where Kirk was gunned down. So We'll continue to monitor these live pictures inside the courtroom, and we'll continue to bring you updates as they happen. Well, from one trial to another, the trial against Edric Faust has already seen 4 different people take the stand. So Sam Daniel, who does yeoman's work on our assignment desk, has been watching this. This is a trial, Sam, that a lot of people are paying attention to because this murder happened back in 2001. All right, we finally, police say, got the guy allegedly who was responsible for her murder. She was a law student.
Yes.
Tell us sort of where we're at in the trial at this point.
So this is day 2 of the trial. Between day 1 and today, we already have nearly 50,000 people that have streamed along with us on the Fox 5 YouTube page and the Fox 5 Facebook page. For those of you that don't know about this case, as Tom was saying, Baker was killed back in 2001. It was the weekend of her birthday. Police finally arrested Edric Faust in 2023. They say he is the man responsible for raping and murdering Baker before setting her apartment on fire, where they found her body days later. Now, today, as you were saying, 4 people have already testified. A lot of it has been procedural testimony. So we've had a 911 operator come in and talk about the calls that came in about the fire, the firefighter response, when firefighters said they'd found a body. From there, we've seen an ACCPD detective who worked on forensics talking about what they did. We've also had the ME who talked about the autopsy and finding DNA samples on Baker's body. So that got a little testy between the defense and the prosecution because the defense wanted to argue that there was a chain of custody issue with the samples and that the samples weren't necessarily labeled exactly where they were found from. But the judge still allowed that testimony to be entered. And on follow-up, the prosecution asked if there was any difference in how DNA would be tested, dependent on how it was labeled. The medical examiner said no. And so they went on. Now, the most emotional testimony came from one of Baker's friends, Katie Launston. She was in law school with Baker, and she is likely the last person to have seen Baker live. They were studying together at the library the day that police say Baker was killed. She says...
She's going to be critical in this case, by the way.
Very emotional, too. She was talking police through the last time she heard from Baker and how she went on to find out that Baker had passed away. Take a listen.
Yes, I was supposed to call her when I got home, and I did not.
All right. And so did you receive a phone call that evening?
Yes, she called me about 9:30, maybe 9:45, and then she admonished me, scolded me because I had failed to call her, but I just didn't mean anything bad. I just forgot.
Okay. Do you need a cup of water or a moment?
I have some. Thank you so much.
There's some tissues over there beside you if you see them and need them. Is that the last time you ever talked to Tara?
Yeah. I think the last thing she ever said to me was I said hello, and she said, "You did not call me." And I said, "I know, I'm so sorry." And she said, "But you're okay?" I said, "I am." And she said, "All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow." And that was kind of it.
So when you say I'll talk to you tomorrow, this is Thursday night.
Yes.
So tomorrow would be Friday, January 19th, 2001. Is that right?
Yes.
I would just object to leading questions. I've given counsel leeway. I didn't want to just make.
All right.
I would ask the court to instruct them to ask appropriate questions.
All right, I'm going to sustain that objection. If you will rephrase your questions to be non-leading.
Yes, Your Honor. What day would the next day have been?
January 19th, 2001.
And what day of the week would that have been?
Friday.
Okay. And so on Friday, what would y'all's first class of the day have been?
I believe it was property.
All right. And I think we already talked about this, but about what time did that start?
At 9:30 in the morning.
Was Tara in class?
No, she was not.
Was that something that was unusual for Tara?
It was. And we did, I recall my friends and I discussing it, but we thought, well, it's her birthday weekend. Maybe she slept in,
Okay. Did she show up for any of her classes after that?
Yeah,
No.
I'm making the same objection. We've had 3 leading questions that the state asked questions appropriately.
All right, so the prior 2 questions were leading. I'm going to sustain your objection with regard to that and ask the state to make sure that you rephrase and you don't lead your witness. The last question was actually not a leading question, so I'll overrule your objection with regard to the last question. You may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I think the last question I asked you is, did Tara show up for any of your classes that day?
She did not show up for any of our classes. No.
Okay. Were there any plans that y'all had for that evening?
Yes. As I said, it was her birthday weekend, so we had all planned to meet at a bar called The Winery just after class, and we did go. Her friends and I went, and she was not there.
Okay. When did you find out what had happened to Tara?
The next morning on January 20th.
Okay. How is it that you learned about Tara's murder?
A friend of mine from law school named Jim Davis called me, and he said, Katie, I'm so sorry, but Tara's died. And I yelled at him, and I was very mean. And I told him he was not funny, and then I hung up on him. And then I called our friends. We called them the Ericks because they lived in the same house. So I called the Ericks, and one of them answered. And I said, Eric, Jim has said the most insane thing to me. And he said that Tara died. So I need you to go get your paper and tell me he's wrong. And he did. He went out, and when he came back onto the line, he was just very shaken. And he said, Katie, I'm sorry. She died. I don't remember her.
Any response, Mr. Yellowman-Shilley, with regard to the hearsay objection?
The emotional testimony that everyone was buying into.
Sam, you're online all the time across all of our social media platforms. What is the driving interest behind this story? You said a lot of people are paying attention to it.
So a lot of people are paying attention to it purely because of the age.
Yeah.
2001 murder. Arrested in 2023, just now going to trial. But also a lot of the comments have to do with, and you heard it there in that sound bite, the judge and the defense attorney's interactions. A lot of people are seeing how the defense attorney is objecting a lot and how the judge is responding. He was actually held in contempt yesterday. So there's a lot going on in this trial and a lot to pay attention to.
A lot of drama coming outside the courtroom. You'll continue to monitor it, Sam. Thanks. When we come back, we're going to head out to California. Super Bowl Sunday is this weekend, and there is a lot going on out there. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes with you live inside the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Want to head out to California now, where the Super Bowl is just days away. Take a look at Levi Stadium. That stadium, I just learned, has undergone a $200 million renovation in the lead up to Sunday's big game. Seahawks, Patriots. There's a week-long series of events leading up. Christian Cafton live in Sacramento with more. Christian, what an exciting place to be. Really, the Super Bowl in this week is like the center of the universe.
Absolutely, and Tom, we're super happy to be supporting it here and hosting it here in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you haven't been to Levi's, you were talking about it a moment ago, it is a great, great place to watch a game. And as you said, they put all this money into it, so it's even better now for the Super Bowl. Pretty incredible. The only thing that would improve it is if there were perhaps some different teams involved in that Super Bowl game. Personally, I'm kind of partial to the 49ers. I understand, though, the audience that I'm playing for here right now. We are inside the Super Bowl experience here in Moscone Center. This is one of the big convention centers here in San Francisco, and this is the experience. They have something for every football fan. If you take a look down there, that is where all the Super Bowl rings are. We're going to walk you down there so that you can take a look and see some of those football rings, the Super Bowl rings. This is really what they're aiming to do, is they're trying to get fans up close and personal, not just with the players, because of course they'll be meeting the players and getting to hang out with the players and get autographs and all those kinds of things, but they're also really trying to make sure that they can get a real kind of NFL experience. About an hour ago or so, I was kicking the extra points, but here you can see some of these Super Bowl rings, and they are absolutely spectacular. The Vince Lombardi Trophy, we understand, also inbound as we speak, so you can just, like I said, just get a sense of the excitement, a sense of what the fans are expecting. Now, it looks empty right now. That is because they have not opened officially yet to the public. They open at 3 o'clock Pacific time, so we are expecting a ton of fans to show up a little bit later on.
What an exciting place to be. I mean, I know, we have our own high-profile sporting events here in the Atlanta area with Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and as I said, it really does feel like all of the energy in the universe is really around you. Have you seen people, coming in really from all parts of the world?
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting football fans coming in from all over the world. Just a quick anecdote. One of my friends has a son who's a host at one of the restaurants in San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf. It's one of our big tourist destinations, and he's a host down there, and it's his high school job, and he's making a little extra money on the side. And he turns around and he says, "Dad, all these huge guys are coming in. All these football players, right, are all coming to town, and they want to check out San Francisco too." So he's down there, and he's welcoming these football players into the restaurant. He is trying to earn those tips. He's hoping to get maybe some of that NFL tip money, perhaps. But yeah, there's definitely a sense of excitement here in San Francisco.
Yeah, you got the players, you got the big celebrities coming through, and you got a good game in the Seahawks and the Patriots coming up on Sunday. Thanks so much, Christian. Great to see you out there. We'll continue to check back with you guys as the week unfolds. We have news this afternoon on the fate of Savannah Guthrie's mother. She is the NBC News anchor of the Today Show, and the investigation is still on out there as to what might have happened to her. The search for the 84-year-old Today Show host mother near Tucson, Arizona, is growing more desperate. Investigators say she was taken from her home against her will, and now they have signs that there might have been foul play here. It's a very mysterious case involving a high-profile person. So many elements of this are just so mysterious. Investigators say that it is a race against time to find Nancy Guthrie. The Pima County Sheriff's Office says the elderly mother of Savannah Guthrie was abducted from her home in Arizona overnight Saturday and may have been harmed in the process.
Good morning. I don't know that everybody knows who's here. Of course, I'm Sheriff Chris Natos. John Edwards is the Tucson chief here for the FBI, and he'll have some words for you as well. This is really, for me, pretty new, all the media attention. So I apologize to you for sometimes I'm speaking in generalities, and I'm not used to everybody hanging on to my words and then trying to hold me accountable for what I say, but I understand. So we're going to try our best to be succinct with you in the future, and also more important for you to understand is we have a lot of work in front of us. We have a job to do, and we have someone's life who is in jeopardy. And so job number one is we got to find her, and we got to work hard to do that. I understand there's great attention on this, and rightfully so, and I appreciate it, and I thank you for it, because it has generated a lot of leads for us. And so we're tracking those leads, and we're doing things with evidence that you would expect us to be doing. So having said that, we're going to set this up. I know that a number of you yesterday, you guys drove me crazy. Yesterday I was going from a.m. to all the way till 9, 10, 11, midnight, answering concerns and questions, and it's just too tough, and it's not fair to the case. So what I'm going to tell you is today we're going to do this similar to what we're doing right now. Here we'll take questions. It's not really my briefing, it's your briefing. You'll be able to ask us some questions. We'll probably shut you off after a while because I just can't be here all day. We have work to do. But we'll take some questions, and then in a couple of days, unless something breaks, we'll do this every couple of days. So, and we'll set up with you through our PIO teams to give you anything that comes up that might change, but clearly they will notify you on these, what I call media briefings. So with that, I'm going to ask John to come up. If you've got a statement to say, John, and then we'll take some questions and we'll get back to work.
Hello, I'm John Edwards. My spelling is Jonedwards. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's office here in Tucson. First, we want the community to know that the FBI is doing everything in our power to bring Nancy Guthrie home to her family. The FBI is working alongside the Pima County Sheriff's Department on this incident. In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We're looking at this from every angle, but we need your help.
Right, so not a ton of information as to the whereabouts of 84-year-old Savannah Guthrie's mother, the host of the Today Show, as Pima County authorities bring us up to date, or at least try to, on the status of their investigation. Just not a lot of information at this point to go on, but you can imagine we certainly might get more here in the coming days. When we come back, we're always eager to talk to you about job fairs happening in our city, because it means potential jobs for those who are looking for them and innovative ways to get them. Our Chris Rosenthal will fill us in when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes. For this hour, we talk about the impactfulness quite often here of these career fairs and job training opportunities that are being held here in our community. There is one being billed as an impactful career event in Gwinnett County, and our Chris Rosenthal is there.
You know, with the new year, this is a time when a lot of people are looking for a new job or new opportunities for employment. And a lot of those people are here today at the Gas South Arena in Gwinnett County, where Gwinnett County held a career fair throughout the day. They had several thousand people registered, and quite the turnout. As you can see, people had the opportunity to meet with representatives from 16 different departments, as well as get some panel discussions in and some resume writing advice. It's really a big event here today. And I talked with Adrienne McAllister. She's the Director of Human Resources at Gwinnett County, just about all the opportunities that are available.
It's an opportunity for residents and people in the community to come in, learn a little bit about what it is that the county offers as far as careers. If they've pre-registered, even have an interview and maybe walk away with a job offer.
And what kind of opportunities are available for the people coming here today?
So there's a wide variety of opportunity. We have trades positions, for example, those that are hired into our water and Department of Transportation departments, as well as professional level positions like attorneys and engineers and accountants. So the opportunities are varied. But what we have is a pathway and an opportunity for those that are entering the job market, as well as those that have had years of service and experience. So we have something for everyone.
And there's lots of resources here as well, huh?
Correct. So what we have available for those that are trying to prepare for the next opportunity, we have resume review and editing that's available. We also have a panel discussion and opportunities for the community to directly engage with leadership within the departments.
And how many jobs? How many jobs are open, and where is the most need in Gwinnett?
So currently we have about a 10% vacancy rate. So that comes out to about just over 600 vacancies. The lion's share of those opportunities exist in our public safety departments, specifically law enforcement, so police department and the sheriff's office.
And you find a good variety of people here, people who may be well into their career looking for a pivot or a change, or some people who are earlier on in their career looking for their first opportunities.
I'm looking for a career field upon graduating college, just stepping my foot out into the water and looking for something that fits me within the county.
And does the variety here really help you maybe narrow it down and get some ideas?
Yes, it's a lot of good variety, and also at a lot of the booths, they know a lot about some of the other booths as well too, like because they're hiring from multiple departments within each section, so it's a lot of knowledge just coming in from one booth to the next.
And if you missed the career fair today, you can always go to GwinnettCountyJobs.com to see what opportunities are available. And Adrienne says, just be sure to put your best foot forward. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks. Always good information coming from you. Appreciate it. We're joined by Victor Prieto from Fox 5 Sports to talk about yet another new introduction for the Falcons front office. This time the new GM. This guy coming from the Chicago Bears, where he was assistant GM, Ian Cunningham. Matt Ryan doing the rollout today. Quite a news conference by these two.
Yep, well, the Falcons are finally done, right? At least for now, hopefully, with press conferences. It's been a very busy month, to say the least, to the offseason so far, but they secured now their new era, right? Their new front office. They announced Matt Ryan. They announced Kevin Stefanski. Now they have their general manager in Ian Cunningham, like you said, the former assistant general manager for the Bears. He's been there the last 4 seasons. Most recently helped them succeed this year. They made it to the playoffs. They won their division. He's hoping to bring that back here to Atlanta, trying to stop this skid of 8 straight losing seasons that the Falcons have been on. They need to get over 500, make the playoffs right, and that's what he hopes he can do here in Atlanta.
The two of them spoke today. I'm assuming that Matt Ryan, having been on the field for as long as he has, and then really embracing this new role as president of football, who Ian Cunningham will wind up reporting to.
Yeah.
We're all sort of looking at the chemistry of these two and how they interacted with one another on the stage today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very fair to note. So in Chicago, Ian Cunningham was the assistant general manager, the Bears general manager. So Ian Cunningham's boss was Ryan Poles, who was Boston College teammates with Matt Ryan in college. So that was the connection between the two of them and how they were familiar with each other, right? I'm sure Ryan Poles and Matt Ryan are good friends still to this day. So I'm sure it helped Ian Cunningham in the process of getting this job. And one pretty cool note for him, he's here from Atlanta. He grew up in Roswell. His dad is a former sports agent, so he grew up around the realm of sports. He said he always grew up wanting to be a general manager. His dream coming true today. He had a really emotional moment today at the press conference talking about his family, how cool this moment was. He kind of sat down and he just wanted to take this in for a second.
In his own hometown, too, right?
Hometown, which is so cool. So his dad worked in the operations of marketing, I believe, for the Olympics when it was here in 1996.
Okay.
So he grew up here for a while. We have a soundbite of him talking about it if we want to listen to that.
Great.
Growing up here, I literally got my first pair of dress shoes at Friedman Shoes right downtown, right around the corner, right? My family has bricks in Centennial Park, you know. I remember, back in the mid-'90s, Chris Chandler, Jamal Anderson. I was offensive lineman, so Bob Whitfield, right? I had this husky kid in my kitchen trying to do the Dirty Bird. Still can't do it. My daughter's a dancer. I'm sure she'll teach me one day. But those are the memories I had, growing up here. And the city was electric. It was on fire during the mid-'90s with the Olympics and the Braves. So those are core memories that I hope that I can be a small part of bringing back to the city.
What a guy. And I'm just reading some of his bona fides. He was very highly regarded in his prior roles. He's got the connection to Atlanta. Just seems like a good all-around guy.
Yeah, you always hear the phrase in sports, win the press conference, which in reality doesn't really mean much because what matters is, the results on the field. But it is always nice, and I think it's fair to say Ian Cunningham won the press conference. He did a great job of introducing himself. Such a great story. Easy to root for a guy, like you said, from Atlanta. And if we're talking on field for the Falcons and what he hopes to bring, well, he said he wants a smart, tough, physical football team. He says he wants to build through the trenches. That's what he did in his past stop with the Bears and the Eagles, the team he was at before he was in Chicago. So that's what he hopes. He says basically this roster isn't bare. They got some talent and they have some pieces to work with moving forward as a general manager.
I believe we heard from Matt Ryan today too. Let's listen to a little bit of what Matt Ryan had to say.
Yeah, both of these guys are Philly tough, right? So I'm an offensive lineman, so it was music to my ears that they have that vision. But in the process, for me, it's the fit, right? And to have an owner like Arthur, his values and what he stands for in our first interaction, it felt natural. It felt like this is where I belong, right? We have similar values. And it just felt easy, and I wanted to be here since day one, and I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm appreciative to be in this situation and ready to roll.
It's interesting. One of the things Ryan said was that one of the biggest selling points for Cunningham was his ability on scouting, all right? Getting out there, identifying really good players, and then bringing them into the organization.
Yeah, well, it's something where you have to tune in later today on Fox 5. We did a great one-on-one sit-down with him. Justin Felder and Ian Cunningham had a more private, one-on-one discussion, excuse me. And he basically mentioned there, one thing Justin asked him was, he started from the low of the low. It was something back in his first job. It was this program where he was basically a general area scout. As bottom of the totem pole you can go, and as part of being a scout, right, you kind of have to go through that process of the long days, picking up guys at the airport, logging over thousands and thousands of miles at the airport. So it's one of those, he's worked his way up.
All right. We're excited to see Justin's interview. Victor, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today for the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Don't go anywhere. The news continues right here, right now.
Fox 5 News at 4 starts